Hello happy souls, welcome back to my channel. This is Charlotte with Happy Twins 1111. My beautiful friends, I'm so excited to do this reading today. This is the reading that you guys voted for in the poll. These are messages from your spirit guides, whatever you need to hear the most right now. These are messages channeled immediately from the light to help you find the best path forward, to help you make sense of your present. I love these readings because it really leaves space for spirit to communicate the messages that you absolutely need the most. And quite often that's something that we don't even realize that we need. And so this really gives spirit that freedom to deliver exactly what it is that your heart needs right now to help you. So I've got 4 piles for you to choose from. In pile number 1, we've got the dog with a Amazonite. And for that pile, I will be using the Self-Love Tarot. In pile number 2, we've got the tiger with lepidolite, and for that pile, I'll be using the Anima Mundi Tarot. In pile number 3, we've got the cow with yellow calcite, and for that pile, I will be using the Considerate Cat Tarot. And in pile number 4, we've got the polar bear with nephrite jade, and for that pile, I am using the light Seers Tarot. So take your time choosing. As always, there is no right or wrong way to decide. Just see which pile you're drawn to. If you are drawn to more than one pile, that's fine. It just means that there's messages in more than one pile for you. There will be an extended reading today, so if this reading resonates for you, you can find the link for that in the description box below. But to go to your pile, the timestamps are also in the description box below. If you click on that, that will take you straight to your pile, and I will see you there. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the dog and the Amazonite. We're working with the Self-Love Tarot today, and in this reading I'm channeling messages from your spirit guides. So I'd like you to just start by taking some nice long deep breaths for me, really filling up your tummy like a balloon, and then exhaling all the way out slowly to the tips of your toes. Just allow yourself to find a really nice rhythm with your breathing, whilst setting the intention that you're ready and willing for your spirit guides to step forward and bring the messages that you need. And even if you can't see them or hear them or feel them, just trust that they're always with you, always supporting you. And to help them communicate with you in direct ways, which can help validate the messages and anchor faith, just ask them now for a sign. A sign can be anything at all. Just trust whatever pops into your head first. It could be an animal, a creature, something from nature, an object, a symbol, phrases, numbers, gods, goddess or deities, whatever works for you. If more than one thing pops up, just allow yourself to have a couple. And this sign may appear outside of the reading as well. So just continue breathing deeply whilst you focus on the intention to be open-hearted and willing to receive. And you focus on the signs you've asked for. And I'm going to shuffle the cards and you can just continue relaxing. Your guides are always with you. And today we're hoping to bring through whatever message it is that you need the most right now. There's no right or wrong topic here. But when we leave the questions wide open like this and we just ask, tell us what we need to know the most, we really give spirit the room to deliver exactly what we need. So I've no idea what will come through for you today, but you can trust that it's what you're ready to hear. Now, the first card we've chosen for you, this lovely dog, the Amazonite, is actually the Fool in Tarot. This is the first card in the deck. It's numbered 0, which is everything and nothing all at once. It's also represented by the circle, which communicates the infinite cycle of life. There is no real beginning or ending, it's just constant. And so the Fool is at the beginning of his journey, and normally we see him in the traditional tarot striding towards a cliff, and he's about to step off it without realizing. And you know, the term the Fool can suggest a lack of intellect or intelligence, but that's not how it's intended. The Fool, there's something beautiful about this energy because it's naive and innocent. And he doesn't stride towards the cliff because he's stupid. He strives towards the cliff brimming with confidence and feeling safe because he still trusts that the universe will catch his back. And of course, when we have that faith, we're always taken care of. So who's the Fool really? But the card represents that beautiful naive innocence before that faith is broken by the experience of life. It's like the newborn baby, all the wisdom and purity in its eyes and in its energy. And so this is a beautiful energy. It's also symbolic of new beginnings. And so I do feel that you're at the beginning of a brand new phase in your life. But we're going to get a ton of cards and oracle cards and charms and tarot coins to help us understand what's happening for you and what you need to know about your life right now. I'm actually going to start with the Queen of the Moon Oracle to understand your present circumstances that we're addressing today. So we've got hot moon, extremes, wow. We've got full moon, power. We've got release. And we've got darkness, long night moon. And the numbers here are 34, 16, 27 and 40. So 34 reduces to 7, 16 also reduces to 7, 27 is 9, and 40 of course reduces to 40. And those single numbers are significant in numerology as well. We'll talk about what they mean in a moment. From the tarot, we've got the Six of Pentacles. We've got the 10 of Pentacles. We've got the 7 of Pentacles. We've got the Ace of Wands in reverse. And we've got the Death card in reverse. And clarifying those, we've got the 7 of Cups. Nice hairy naked lady there. She looks like me. Although I'm not naked right now. Probably quite hairy though. High Priestess. These cards are quite funny. The Sun in reverse. The 8 of Swords in reverse. And the King of Pentacles in reverse. And from the Archetypes cards, I feel like I need to riffle shuffle these. We've got the shadow aspect of prostitute. Please don't panic. That doesn't mean you're a hoe. Although we did start with extremes, there's clearly lots of kink going on in your life right now. We've got the Hermit. No shame in the kink, kids. It's all natural. Okay, Don Juan, the shadow attribute. Whew. Let's make sense of what's coming through for you, part 1. So, in this top row, extremes, power, release, and darkness. And it feels like you've been caught up in a very toxic but super addictive and lustful connection with somebody. And even though you're aware that this person isn't good for you, that this situation doesn't serve you, you feel absolutely powerful when you're with them and you feel powerless to resist them. And so we have this energy of extremes here, this hot moon. This is such a magnetic connection that you are experiencing. And so it's all encompassing. This to me feels almost like drug energy. You know, you get this high, and when you haven't got the high, you can't stop thinking about the next one. And this full moon energy here with this power, this is number 7. This is divinity. This is big power. This is such big energy that this person conjures to you. And again, that number 7 here with extremes. For sure, this is a divinely guided connection. But I'm also asking you to be cautious about how you perceive the soulful nature of this connection. There are so many different types of soul relationships. In fact, most all relationships happen for a reason. And most all of the people we have some level of intimacy with throughout our lives have appeared in past lives, we know so many of the people that we know now through our soul's history. And so there are so many different types of soul connections happening simultaneously in our lives. Every now and then, there'll be this powerful magnetic force to someone, which is what you're experiencing now. But I'm guided that you need to see it for what it actually is. For sure, there's some important learning here. And certainly, this powerful, potent, lustful, and sexual magic that exists between you is very pleasurable and pleasant. There's no shame in it. But this was intended to help you release something. You're at a stage in your life where you're ready to move forward into your own growth. You've probably recently exited a relationship and you're looking to have a good time. And that's okay. You're guided to enjoy this good time. But this connection is being brought to your attention because it's becoming too addictive. And it's actually distracting you now from where you're meant to be going. You need to release some of this because there is a lot of darkness here, and you've always known that. You've identified the red flags and you justified this connection to yourself because you just feel like you're having fun, and it's okay to have fun, but there's a time when the energy tips and it falls out of balance, and you're struggling to hold yourself still now through the energy of this specific connection. You're noticing that the dark weighs in more than the light, and that all of the power available to you from it is not stable or freely reciprocated. And all of those energies then create imbalances, disturbances, and so forth within you. Now, these triggers aren't to be resented. They're purposeful. The reason this is happening is because every time you're triggered, you're being shown something about yourself that needs to be released. But this isn't the work you're doing in this relationship. Instead, you're focused on when you can get more. What are they thinking? When are they coming back? What will happen next? All the while pretending that you're in control. And you're not in control of this situation. From what I can see here, you lost control of it a long time ago. And deep down, you know that. It's causing you too much anguish now. And it's time for you to start recognizing the purpose of this connection and the lessons that were being presented within it, so you can have these beautiful releases. You've already had some, but there is so much more to come. You know, we mustn't sedate our soul at the expense of ignoring the shadow aspects that need our attention. And I do feel you are a very powerful and divine person. You know how to find that balance within yourself. You have immense self-control over your own energy and power. You've definitely gravitated towards psychic development, and you've established a process of coping which serves you. But right now, you have moved into a situation and it feels like it's just caught up with you without you realizing, like a slow rising tide is what I'm being shown. And all of a sudden you're in way deeper than you thought you were going to be. So, you know, there's a need now to recognize what this is. I feel the need to be specific. This isn't going to be a long-term relationship. It was never intended to be so. There are so many beautiful aspects and gifts within this connection, but that one isn't it. Deep down, you knew that from the beginning, and deep down, you still know that, but you've become attached. You've started to enjoy that high and the buzz so much. It's like being addicted to a drug. And so we have the Six of Pentacles here as well, which is all about give and take. This connection was intended to teach you about give and taking through our bodies, because you never had that kind of magical and divine physical interaction with somebody. It's unleashed something beautiful and divine in you, which helps you accept your body. It helps you recognize yourself as divinely beautiful and sexual. And this was an awakening or liberation from self that you needed. But now, with the Seven of Cups, you're being made aware that there are so many alternatives out there, including that Ten of Pentacles, the kind of connection that you actually want. We've got the High Priestess here as well. Intuitively, you know that you are meant for something much more stable, much more abundant, much more compatible with where you want to go in life. This person is so very different to you. And even though there's that powerful psychic sexual connection, they're not the person that's meant to lead you, you know, down your life path. They're here to teach you specific lessons, and you need to learn them so that you can move on to what you're meant to be moving on to. The Seven of Pentacles is all about patience and investing in your path, and you're being asked to let go now of the more, shall we say, youthful persona that you've enjoyed spending time in recently. And you needed that. You needed to let your hair down. You needed to party. You needed to socialize. You needed to have connections like this. But when the sun comes up in reverse, the truth of this situation with all that darkness there is it doesn't feel as fun anymore. And yet for a long time, it was the perfect distracting behaviors to help carry you through a difficult time, to remind you that you're vibrant, alive and fun and desirable and attractive. And you've taken all of those things from it now. There's still some lessons outstanding with this person. But for me, this is about now recognizing that if you continue in this old cycle and you don't pick up the lessons that you're meant to, you can't move forward. And you're actually in the process of stagnating and moving down a very slippery slope right now. You need to rein it back in. The Ace of Wands tells us that you're blocking yourself psychically. You know, you're so tangled up in this person's web of energy that you're now not trusting your own. And we have the Eight of Swords in reverse, which asks you to release yourself from that self-entrapment. You've reverted back to having anxious attachment where you'd previously developed much firmer boundaries. You're starting to let them slip. And so this change that needs to happen can't happen. And you may find with the King of Pentacles in reverse that deprives you of so much comfort, stability and abundance. Your life may feel very chaotic all of a sudden. And even though it's been fun, you know, now you feel this desperate urge to just be calm, to just find balance, to find harmony, to find peace, to find stability. But there is too much on your mind. This person is not on the same evolutionary frequency as you. Their vibration is much lower. And with energy, when you step into the room with another human being or more than one, energy always seeks to balance itself. So if you come into that space with a very, very high vibration, and you're not managing your own energy and aware and conscious of it and using those high priestess abilities for discernment, what will happen is that your energy will continue to flow to anyone who has a lower vibration until you all come into sync and balance is restored. And so spending a lot of time around people that don't match your frequency is draining you. Unless you're aware of what's happening and you continue to top up your own tank and manage your energy. When you're connected to source, your high vibrational energy is always overflowing. It's always enough to share with others. But when you stop topping up your own tank, you just become drained. And so your vibration finds a new low. And this is why you're struggling right now. Because you've learned all of these skills, but you're not applying them. You're so distracted by what's happening in your life, in particular with this connection, that you're no longer paying attention to your own state of being. You have the power and skill to. You are highly discerning and a highly evolved psychic person. Even if you don't give yourself that credit or recognize it about yourself, you at least recognize that you do have that awareness. You can feel into your own energy. You're aware of how you're feeling, and you have those layers of discernment that allow you to understand whether or not your own state of being is aligned. But you've begun neglecting practice. You've begun neglecting self again, and there's no discipline around this self-care routine. And when there's no discipline, you return to chaos. You return to wobbling and not being out of alignment because your energy is constantly being pushed and pulled by the energy of those around you. The shadow attribute of the prostitute is places, material considerations, security, and self-empowerment. Now, there's nothing wrong with self-empowerment, but when we're looking for outside of self, when we're looking to receive all of that security, stability, and empowerment from outside of self, which is what you're craving from this person right now, they appear so strong to you. They're giving you something which makes you feel even more powerful and high, and you want more of it. And when you become reliant on the external source, empowerment, you're too easily manipulated, and you're no longer taking care of self or being responsible for self. And so this is what this card refers to. You've started giving your power away again, and you're failing to recognize that you have everything in you. And so you've slipped back down this slope, back into a relationship that you know isn't good for you. You need to be alone right now, and you need to learn what it means to be alone, to find the power in your solitude. Remember, we had a number 9 here with the release energy. Number 9 is also the Hermit. This is Virgo energy, and it says seek solitude to focus intently on inner life. And this serves personal creativity. You know, you are ready to have this new beginning, to be reborn, but you have to learn to be alone. Hopping from one interaction to another, keeping busy by dating. It's been good, it's been fun. You've learned that you are one sexy person, and that you are desirable, and that you can have fun and go out there and, you know, demonstrate your vitality and your passion. But you also need to come back to self now. That's where you started, and this circle, you know, is bringing you back to the beginning, like with the Fool. It's time for you to ascend again. It's time for you to expand some more. It's time for you to grow, but you have to give yourself time. Allow yourself time for this growth to happen. The shadow attribute of Don Juan, using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas. Again, you know, using the power that you feel when you're connected to this personal situation to help you feel good. Taking those resources from outside of self and becoming addicted to them, so much so that you've forgotten how to provide yourself with that vital sustenance. And there's a part of you that thinks you can't have what this person gives you, that it needs 2 people to create all of this sexual power. But you're guided to recognize it's all in you, and you can draw on that energy from anywhere you like. You can spend time alone and still be connected to that passion, still be that powerful person. There's definitely a profound shift and change coming for you, and it does feel like a dramatic expansion of consciousness. It feels like a huge step up in the ascension process. And I do feel that your journey towards enlightenment started some time ago. You know, you've had an awakening. You know what it feels like to shift. And I think you can recognize too that you are stagnating at this moment in time, that there hasn't been a big exciting shift for a while, and you're ready for that now. You know, your guides are saying there is so much wasted potential right now. And that is not in your zone of awareness because you're so distracted from what's happening outside of self. You're so distracted from the energy that you're managing to gather from other situations, and not recognizing how you're being drained in other areas. So there's a need to reassert boundaries here for sure. Let's get some more cards. I'm going to start with the Archangel animals. What else do your guides need you to know about this or anything else? Pile 1. We've got Rabbit. Recognize your significance. B, spread heart healing with joy. The bee has been such a significant symbol within the collective recently. Hedgehog, be a magnet for light, love and joy. And Dolphin, live joyfully in the present. And from the Power of Love activation cards, elevation, self-love, empathy, and detachment. And from the Keepers of the Light deck, we've got Radha, Soul Flame, Odin, Psychic Knight, Paul Venetian, Experiencing Grace, and Mercury, Open Communication. And from Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle. Feather, think first before you judge. Protest, start a revolution. And dragons, slay them all. How interesting. Oh, part one, this is deep. Recognize your significance. The rabbit is all about fertility and growth. You see the unicorn here as well, a powerful symbol as magic. And this is connected to Archangel Gabriel, who is a healer. He delivers green heart light, loving light, unconditional love heals. And you can see that it's the spirals activating the heart space within this bunny here. And the rainbow, a symbol of optimism, faith, hope, treasure, achievement, good fortune. Such a powerfully auspicious symbol there, the rainbow. Recognize your significance. You are here for a reason, pile one. You're not here on vacation. You have a powerful mission and purpose. Your spiritual role in this community is way more significant than you've allowed yourself to take credit for. And so when the bee comes up again, that powerful symbol of collective energy, it says spread heart healing with joy. You know, this is all about recognizing that you're adding something to the whole that's vital and important. The hedgehog reminds you that you are a magnet for life. And again, this is Archangel Gabriel. You are a magnet for light, love, and joy. You're a magnet for it. This is why you are suddenly so attractive and desirable. When your vibration is high and you are shining at your brightest, you're attracting this joyful life. And you've really been enjoying your present. But it's time to get back to work, to get back into that hermit energy, to get back into a state of introspection so you can be elevated once more. You've got Radha heal soul flame, rediscover a lost part of yourself, experience relationship harmony and healing. You have a powerful soulmate coming in. But you have to create space for that to happen. You need to elevate yourself above the current cycle before that's going to be possible. And it says here, you are making the conscious decision to raise your vibration of love. This person might be sexy as hell, but their vibration is low. It doesn't match your love vibration. You need to allow yourself space to be elevated once more so that this soul connection can come in. This community work, it's all about self-love. This is something that you've spent years, probably most of your lifetime learning, and you turned a corner with it. You've turned a corner with it. You realize that love of self is necessary to love another. You had this psychic insight. You downloaded so much understanding about what self-love means and how much it empowers you. Don't let it go now. Don't sacrifice it for this connection. This is a real test of your own self-love and sense of self, because deep down you've always known that that relationship wasn't right for you. You've had that insight. Your third eye is open. See the truth for what it is. Follow your intuition. You always have to come first. How are you compromising yourself or ignoring your own healthy boundaries to accommodate this person? Be a magnet for light, love, and joy, but you have to have healthy defenses. You know, the hedgehog is a fairly benign and gentle creature, but it has this prickly exterior to keep it safe. And that is an act of self-love. Not suggesting you should be prickly, but you have to know when to protect yourself. And in this situation, your empathy for this other person, and certainly for other people as well, has overridden your awareness of self-preservation first. Paul the Venetian, experiencing grace. Share your gifts with grace. And it says here, you feel and understand the emotions of another in the service of love. Share your gifts. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you when you elevate yourself above these present circumstances. You know, you will have access to even more joy. Don't allow yourself to labor under the idea that you're sacrificing something. You know, you may think, oh, but I'm having so much fun. This has been great. What about that? I really enjoy that. I'm supposed to do what feels good. But we can't sedate ourselves at the expense of our growth. Detachment, you're releasing old patterns and ideas that no longer serve your highest ideals of love. Open communication, get a weight off your chest, speak up with love and be heard. I don't think you've been authentic with this person. You know, you're playing it so cool, but if actually you explain to them how you really felt, I think you'd have to then face the truth that you've been ignoring. This person isn't going to lead you into the future, and you're really putting off the inevitable by not allowing yourself to recognize that truth that was already within you. Think first before you judge. The feather. This is a number 26, so this is number 8, the number of infinity, the number of repeating cycles. Think first before you judge. For me, feathers are also symbolic of hope. They connect to the energy of air, which of course is about our mental body, and communication, which came up here. Think first before you judge. In this situation, when you communicate with this person, you're not seeking information with which you can judge them. You're seeking information with which you can judge yourself. And you're being reminded that focusing on other people's shortcomings and failings and mistakes or ill behaviors is not productive. There's an energy here of indignance, but they should have done this, or they should do this, or why won't they do that? And I'm so frustrated that, and if you feel attacked right now, that's a really powerful indicator that your ego is getting in the way of you facing your own shadow aspects. There is no shame in not having made what you perceive to be the right decision. There are no wrong decisions. Everything happens for a reason. Your guides are coming through today to ask you to move past it, but they're also asking you to forgive yourself for having arrived here. There's no need to beat the living shit out of yourself. And if you're triggered by the suggestion that you're judgy, you need to have an honest conversation with yourself about how much you complain about this person to others in your own inner dialogue. Again, you've reverted to old habits. You know that complaining is the ego's act of non-acceptance. There's no shame in having reverted back. That's what happens when your vibration comes down. And you needed to move through this cycle to learn that you're not infallible. We can all fall off the wagon, or fall off the tightrope, as I like to describe it. When we're aligned and balanced, it's an effort. It's like walking a tightrope. And if we stop paying attention and we get distracted, we fall off. And that happens to the best of us. So you mustn't beat yourself up. You must judge self. That's what the whole exercise is asking of you. But you judge yourself with empathy and compassion, with gentleness. You wouldn't judge a client harshly. You wouldn't say, "You stupid bitch, you shouldn't have done that." They wouldn't be your client anymore if you did. You recognise that that's inflammatory and unhelpful. So don't speak to yourself like this. You've got to start being real with yourself about where you've fallen off the wagon here, and pull yourself back round without beating yourself up. Start a revolution, and this is a self-love revolution, but there may be some other, perhaps political situation that's really close to your heart right now. Remember, we're magnetized and drawn to what we're meant to be doing. So don't allow yourself to get caught up in this idea, well, it's not spiritual to get political. Spirit works through everything, and politics has a major bearing on the way human beings live. To bring love and light into the political world is certainly not a contradiction. And if you feel guided to stand up and start a revolution, or to join a revolution of a political nature, there's a firm message here that you must go forth and shine light there. And it's saying, with the dragons, slay them all. But this is also the number 6. This is the energy of love. Unconditional love. Number 6 is also the Lovers in tarot. So, you're intended to go forward with love and light. And I'm reminded of that Martin Luther King quote. He said, "We can't drive out hate with hate. Only love and light can do that." So judging and shaming isn't how we create change or revolution. That's not how we create change. Love and empathy is how we create change. And, these dragons, to me, it makes me think of a more ill-dignified energy that is perhaps, keeping you and whatever your beliefs are from this castle of truth, and you're coming in injured here, which means perhaps this is to do with protecting vulnerable people, or people that have been abused, or people that have been suffered discrimination. There's definitely some kind of perceived weakness that's occurred as a result of whatever this situation is that you want to now bring truth to. She carries the sword of truth as she marches forward. So, you know, your mission is definitely connected to bringing revolution. Follow it. I know it's hard and it's stressful, but if you feel a powerful impulse to do so, you must remember that you're literally being drawn there for a reason. There are only two intuitive hits we really need to be in tune with. And one of them is, does it feel good and strong and magnetic? And the other is, does it feel uncertain, anxious and resistant? Always trust the magnetism. Of course, discerning when magnetism begins and ego ends is the challenge you're facing in this connection here. But the truth is in you. You have that psychic insight and you have that discernment. So we're going to get some charms and tarot coins. And I'm going to choose one of these cosmic reading cards for you that I'll read from the book because they're just so beautiful. Wow, you got Shine. Number 29. Let's get the charms. Oh, that one fell out. That's the White Rabbit. Okay, we've got quite a few here. Let's see. We have the White Crown and the White Rabbit. P.S. I love you. Oh, there's one hiding behind there. And the F.U. Scrabble pieces. What a little bundle of contradictions that is. You are safe with me. BS remover. You're a loser, lol, on the iPod. And black like my heart. And tarot coins. Wow. We've got the Hermit, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Two of Pentacles. Interesting. This person, okay, part of the reason you're rushing with this and maybe clinging on to them, there could be a biological clock ticking here. Perhaps you want to have children, or you're in a rush to move your life forward. We did have the energy of impatience come through earlier. You're being asked to be patient. And so it does feel like there's a rushing energy, or there's some kind of pressure around this that is kind of driving it. There's some fear about the future that's driving this connection and inhibiting you from seeing it for what it is. I do think this person is a bundle of contradictions. There's definitely a very narcissistic energy here, someone that has perhaps love bombed you and, you know, very much gives you this impression that you're safe, it's stable, and then pulls the rug from under your feet. And this is why we have, you know, such a contradictory bundle of messages here. Black like my heart. P.S. I love you, which sounds so sarcastic, doesn't it? Yeah, P.S. I do love you. BS remover, that you're a loser, and the F.U. You know, you see all the red flags in this connection. You know they're there. You know this person is on a different evolutionary frequency, that they're lower in vibration. You know, you recognize that they are not the right person for you deep down. You have that knowing. You know, you are a clear channel, and it is harder to be discerning and objective when you're connecting to your own experience. But I guess that's why this message is coming through the reading today, so that it can trigger that truth that already lies within you. Again, you've got to go in. You know, you need to be on your own right now. How can you develop a relationship with self and be in union with self if you're not giving yourself time? When you're busy creating relationships with others and nurturing those energies, and doing so at the expense of nurturing union with self, you know, you are limiting your own potential for elevation. The Knight of Pentacles reminds you to take it slow. You don't have to make any rash decisions. You know, this, if you just give yourself a little bit of time to reconnect with self and start going into your own truth, the answers will flow to you, and that opportunity for change will present itself because you open the door for it by connecting your awareness to what it is. Shine. I love this book, which is why I always read from it. This is your last card before we take it to the extended. These messages are always so appropriate. Shine, for you not only light your path, but the path of others around you. If you have selected this card, Spirit encourages you to shine your extraordinary radiant light. You have travelled a long road full of experiences that consisted of reservations and uncertainty of self. Now you find yourself inspired, motivated and ignited with a sense of purpose and passion. Limitations of the mind that once kept you bound have been released, and you are now ready to take that next step. It is time, dear one, to follow your heart's true calling and sing your unique song. Spirit thanks you for having the courage to step away from the crowd despite the caution of the mind. The more you build on your creative passion, the brighter your light will shine. Not only will your surroundings transform to reflect your increasing vibration, but many around you will be inspired by your achievements and personal growth. Just by following your heart and doing what you love best, you will assist humanity in raising its planetary light. Some may become envious of your accomplishments and success, but don't feel obliged to turn your lights low to appease the discontent in them. Keep shining, for soon they too will be inspired by your luminous glow. A strong current is propelling you forward in a positive direction, steered by the heart. A path that is driven by the heart is a soul that is limitless and fruitful. Have fun during this wonderful time and express your beautiful soul for the world to see. You deserve it. And the prayer here, and I'll bring it up so you can pause it and copy it down if you'd like to. Great Spirit, I thank you for the clarity, insight and direction I have in my life. I am grateful for this wonderful opportunity to share my unique light with the world. And the associated chakra is sacral, which of course is all about passion. So, you know, you don't need to keep finding passion in others. You've got to connect your own and let it shine, pile one. I really hope you enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much for being here. If this resonated for you, you can find the link to the extended version in the description box below. But thank you so much for joining me here today. I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you especially to the very generous souls that exchange energy with me by hitting the like button and subscribing, and especially to the very generous souls that watch the commercials and click here and there. That really does help to support my channel, and I appreciate it so much. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your beautiful comments. I love hearing your feedback. I will see you next time. Lots of love, pile one. Bye. Hello, pile two. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the Tiger and the Lepidolite, and we are reading with the Anima Mundi Tarot for you today. We're going to use Oracle cards, the Tarot coins and charms as well. But before we begin, we're doing a reading today in which we channel your guides and all of the messages you need the most right now. These are the signs and the messages that you might not even realize you needed. And this is what's beautiful about these types of readings. When we leave the question wide open, what do I need to hear right now? And we ask your spirit guides directly, you get the most valuable information because you create space for them to really channel what it is you need. So before we begin today, I'd like you to start by taking a really nice long deep breath, really filling up your tummy like a balloon, and exhaling all the way to the tips of your toes. And just allow yourself to find a comfortable rhythm with your breathing, to really become conscious as your breath is your life force, to feel yourself moving into alignment as you stand in awareness of your breath. And dropping down now into your heart space, just set the intention that you're ready and willing to receive the messages you need today from your guides. And they're always with you, even if you can't feel them or hear them or see them. They're always there listening and communicating with you in the direct the most direct way possible. And today those messages are coming to you through me. And they're always with you. And just ask them now for a sign, whatever pops into your head first. It could be an animal, a creature, something from nature, a symbol, numbers or phrases, or a god or goddess, whatever feels right to you. If there's more than one pops in, take it. A sign gives your guides the opportunity to communicate with you directly, to anchor your faith in the process. And you may notice this sign appear outside of the reading as well. So I'm going to draw some cards first to help me understand the context of what needs to be communicated today. And we're going to start with the tiger that you chose, because this is actually a major arcana card in this tarot deck. And it represents the strength card, which is number 8 in the tarot, and the number of infinity. Now, strength is all about pride, ego, courage, and compassion. In the traditional tarot, we see a woman holding open the mouth of a beast, and she does this not through force, but through her unconditional love and pure heart. The beast is subdued in the presence of her divinity, of her beautiful soul energy. And so this is all about taming our inner beast as well, recognizing our true strength, which is in our big, beautiful, compassionate hearts. I love that it's represented by the tiger here. It reminds me of goddess Durga, who often is depicted as riding in a tiger, sometimes a lion as well. But I feel like you need to read about the storyline of Durga. There's some messages in there for you as well. That came through really strong. So this reading for you is all about disabling the ego, recognizing where your pride and ego is interfering in the process. And actually, I take that back. It's not about disabling the ego. It's about mastering the ego at this point and recognizing where your pride is interfering and acting as a blockage. And it's also about stepping in to this pure energy of unconditional love that you do have access to. You are a divine being. You are a powerful goddess. Again, Durga stands out strong in this energy, and Durga is a conqueror. She has access to many tools. She's a very powerful, powerful symbol of divine feminine power. And you have this in you. You have many tools at your disposal to help you move forward with more grace. So the first thing that is coming through from your guides is reminding you of your power and presence and the blessings and the gifts that you already have, reminding you that you are so brave and courageous and that you have the ability to rise above this pride and the obstacles that are presenting. So I'm going to start with the Queen of the Moon Oracle in the top row, just to get some context of what this situation pertains to, and then we'll use some tarot cards to clarify. So we've got acceptance, and I love this image, the waxing crescent second phase moon. This is number 4 card, the number of balance and stability and harmony and control and power as well. Darkness, the long night moon, also a number 4 card. Remember, the number 4 represents the emperor, the leader, the unexpected. And that's the number 7 card, a blue moon. And will, the waxing gibbous moon, number 13, that also reduces to 4. Wow. Okay, let's get some tarot cards. This is the Anima Mundi deck. I list all the decks I used in the description box below. We've got the 5 of Cups. We've got the Knight of Pentacles. That's the 2 of Wands. We've got Penguin and Wolf energy there. We've got the Lovers in reverse. Heron energy. We've got the 3 of Cups. The Devil in reverse. The 8 of Wands. The 7 of Swords. The Ace of Wands. And the Death card in reverse. Let's get some oracle cards. I'm going to go with the Archetype Cards. I'm going to riffle shuffle these as well. I do work with reversals in this deck. You'll see why, because they have a light and shadow attribute depending on which way up you pull it. So we've got the light attribute of Bully. We've got the light attribute of Midas, Miser. And we've got the shadow attribute of Storyteller. What stories are you telling yourself that aren't true, pile 2? What stories are you telling yourself to protect yourself from a truth that feels too painful to acknowledge? We have acceptance, darkness, the unexpected, and will all come through together. And this is such a powerful combination to me. I want to draw you to Will, because what immediately struck me about this card is that she's wearing a mask. You see that? The mask conceals her. You can see that she's standing in power. But these curtains open up to the dark behind her. Now she's facing away from it, but she's also partially consumed by it and appears, you know, this isn't a trick of the eye. It looks both like a sky and her form. Beautiful, beautiful card. And remember, this is a number 4, which also connects to the energy of the Emperor and the energy of death. That's Scorpio energy. The energy of transformation, an ending and a new beginning. And it feels like here, especially with the darkness coming through in these 2 4s, again, all of these energies move back to the divine masculine energy of the Emperor, and they connect to ego, which was what came through here as the primary obstacle. You are in this limbo state, perhaps even a void state, that in-between state between acceptance and fear. To accept, we have to release fear, and we see that in that acceptance, that connection to our truth, there is this light explosion that subdues the dark. Dark cannot exist where light is, but we create that light in our alignment and balance and harmony, and this 4 brings forward all of those lovely stable energies of number 4. But it's also, you know, number 4 also being the number of the divine masculine energy and the ego and the mind. It connects us also to fear. And this is very similar also to the Moon card, where, you know, we're asked to trust, take steps in the dark. Even though we can't see what's ahead, we can only see what's immediately in front of us by the light of the moon. And so it feels like you're on the precipice of change, but there's something that you have to let go of. You have to step through the portal that beckons you. And this is divine intervention, this unexpected. This is a number 7 card, which is the Chariot. It's the Tower. This is all about, you know, that thunderbolt of lightning that changes everything. And we see here that they're being beckoned into this new place, sucked out of the dark and into the light, into the forest, into Mother Gaia's embrace, reconnecting back to who you are. And so there may have been an awakening or a sudden shift in your spiritual awareness recently, and you need to cross over now. You need to allow yourself to step into this more expansive state. There is fear holding you back. Fear, you know, the mask. It's like this change is going to transform you in a way that's, you fear that you're going to be even more isolated than you are now, or alienated than you are now. You know, you're still wearing this mask, still trying to fit in with your present life, and you're so afraid that if you continue to expand and shift, that you're going to leave people too far behind and feel too alone. I feel like you've already broken down most of your social circle as a result of this awakening and this journey you're traveling between light and dark and trying to find your balance within it. There's a lot of uncomfortable shadow aspects that you're still dealing with, but the story, this false storyline that you're telling yourself, is about acceptance. And you have to realize that when you accept yourself, you release this need to be accepted by others. You're so worried about the repercussions of being you, and this is really about learning that the only person's opinion about you that matters is your own. And so again, we come back to the stories you are telling yourself, bringing to your awareness your own inner dialogue, your own voice, and what's rolling on repeat right now in your head, because quite a lot of it is just fear-based. They will do this, they might do that, they will judge me like this, they will shame me like that. None of these things have happened yet. And yet you feed those fears and anxieties that exist in your mind. You're being asked to connect with acceptance for self and to recognize that you don't need anyone else's approval. That is the root. That's what disconnects you from the fear, to give yourself the love and acceptance you need. When you have enough of that in you, you will no longer be so triggered by how others perceive you. And you know what? It's a useless thing to focus on. You can never win. You can never control how other people perceive you. You can only be your authentic self. And even when you're doing that and doing your very best, there will be people that can't meet your energy at an equal frequency, and they will judge you. And more often than not, that judgment is based in how they perceive themselves. It's very rarely actually about you. You know, people throw rocks at things that shine, at things they don't understand, at things that threaten their sense of self. Someone that wants to be validated externally is constantly fending off competition for that validation. It's an ugly state of being. One that you used to be in fact, but you're not anymore. You've drifted away from a lot of people because you've recognized that toxic dysfunction that exists in people that don't have the self-awareness you do. It's okay to let go of some more if that's what needs to happen for you to be you. These people will either surrender into your light, as the beast did when the woman stepped into grace and pure unconditional love. The beast no longer tried to fight her. There's an important message there. When your energy shifts to one of love and acceptance, you will meet much more acceptance in your life. Like attracts like. When you accept yourself, you will attract people that accept you, and you will inspire people to accept you. When you walk in authenticity and truth of who you really are, you shine your brightest light, and you have the most power and potential to create something beautiful. Not just for yourself, but for all of humanity, for the whole world. Mother Earth energy comes in strong for you here. There's a very strong divine feminine energy. That doesn't mean you have to be in a woman's body. We all carry divine feminine and masculine energy. How we express it and whether that's balanced or not is down to the individual. But this is all driven towards intuition. This is all driven towards connecting with your divine feminine power. It's not suggesting that the masculine has no function or need for presence. It does, but the two must be in balance. Stability and harmony is what's being sought here, but it's stability of both energies. It's bringing it's the yin and yang symbol, you know, expressing one another's element, but in perfect harmony. And so this is about bringing yourself into balance, reconnecting to your intuition, which is profound. You are a very gifted person when it comes to your psychic ability, and you take that for granted and don't recognize your own power because you haven't met enough people to bounce ideas off and swap stories and actually practice with. You know, your psychic gifts start to feel, what's the word, confident when you practice. When you practice, you create opportunities for feedback and affirmation. And it's through practicing and delivering accurate messages or readings that you're then able to receive validation of your accuracy and your energy and your skill. This is an important step for you now. You need to be aware of your own presence and direct your will in a powerful way that's going to help you conquer these outstanding shadow aspects in such a way that you are now stepping in to a completely new state of being. With the Five of Cups, there's still some grieving to do. And you feel that grief still. You feel it tugging at you. But your guides are asking you to recognize how few and far between those grief-stricken experiences are nowadays. Previously, that grief used to cripple you. But you have been working through it, transforming through it, learning through it. And the Five of Cups is that midpoint. You know, 5 is about higher learning and transformation. But when it shifts into the 6, you're in the energy of harmony, victory, and love. So you need to trust as well that you are at the end of a very tough cycle. This darkness is about to be snuffed out, but you've got to accept the gift of awakening and that gift of ascension that's being offered to you, and stop hiding from your shadow. Remember here, she has her back to it, even though it's part of her form. She doesn't want to face it. She doesn't want to open the curtains. She's not using her will in the right way. And yet she holds that power. You see it, holding it in front of her face, but she wears the mask. You know, this is about being honest with yourself, recognizing what's actually happening here, and offering yourself this acceptance so you can be free. The Knight of Pentacles and the wolf energy coming through here encourages you to pause. This is about slowing down and reviewing the situation. You've been going too fast for too long. When you actually give yourself room to breathe, to introspect, to plan instead of reacting impulsively to your experience, you arrive at an opportunity to create decisive, inspired action. It's when we connect with our inner truth that we receive the most powerful guidance as to what those next steps in the dark are. Remember, you're being asked to listen to your intuition, that moon energy. And we can see it here peeping out. And look how similar these two images are. You know, and yet when you face it, when you draw the curtains back, you have decisiveness. That's what the Two of Wands is. It's about making decisions, but decisions that are coming from a place of certainty because they're connected to that inner truth. When we touch that point of creation within ourselves, we give ourselves access to this deep inner wisdom that informs our next step. That's how, you know, you are so powerful, to have access to those tools that carry you through life. You are so gifted. You need to start tapping into the senses you were given to help you navigate what's next, to help relieve this anxiety, and to trust in your intuition, to trust in yourself, to accept yourself. You know, you've always looked for that validation in relationships. You didn't know how to define yourself outside of a relationship because you felt you needed a person to give you stability. You felt you needed another person to, you know, firmly plant you in the energy of security. You're being asked to rely on yourself and to recognize that, you know, it's not about being an island, but that you will find community and friends that do match your vibration. It's safe to let go. There's something that you have to let go of here. Certainly with the lovers, it's usually a relationship. I don't know why, but I'm being reminded it can be a love triangle. Depends which tarot deck you look in, but in the first deck that I learned to read with the Enchanted Tarot, we see a couple dancing, and then there's another person in the foreground solemnly watching them. And so it can indicate the end of a love triangle when it comes up in reverse. I feel like with the Three of Cups, that's definitely possible for some of you watching. But the Three of Cups is also about togetherness and union. It's normally associated with a platonic and friendly energy. And so if there is a relationship ending for you here, you're definitely being guided towards trying to maintain good energy, good vibes, remembering that you can only be responsible for your part, but that is your power, and you can deliver civility and kindness and politeness. You know how to behave in an unconditionally loved way, and this situation is definitely calling you to. Also, to reconnect with friendship groups. There are people in your friendship group who you've underestimated in terms of their evolutionary frequency, and they may not all be as high vibrational as you or have the capacity for the same vibration as you, but they are at least within the same realm of awareness that allows them to understand you better than some other friends could. And so that creates a safe outlet for you to continue becoming who you want to be while still maintaining friendships. There's a message there to look harder into your social group, that there are people that are going to be receptive and appreciative and accepting of how you're transforming right now. They may not be able to understand your journey in its entirety, but I think you'll find there'll be willing listeners and willing supporters. And so You know, it's very common when you ascend, when you wake up, when your psychic senses come online, to feel incredibly isolated and alienated if there's no one that you can share that with. You know, people think you're weird or crazy when you start having these mad visions and strange experiences or synchronicities. They don't get it. And if there's no one around you that does, that can feel incredibly lonely and also a bit crazy making. You know, is this really happening? You doubt yourself, you've got no outlet for it. And so it does feel like you have struggled with that. And there is a message here that they are there. There's people within your reach that get you. You need to seek them out and feel into those conversations and, you know, find people that are on a similar journey to you. They don't have to be at the same space or level, but there's lots of people who are spiritually receptive and responsive, or even at least curious, if skeptical. You know, even some skeptical people love talking about this stuff and will welcome and be interested in your conversation. And it's important to know that you can still be accepted. The new you will receive more acceptance because you're standing in the energy of integrity and authenticity. The Devil card is also about releasing that ego and the addictions we have to egoic behaviors. And when I use the term egoic behaviors, I don't want you to perceive it as something negative. It's actually your mind trying to protect you. You know, this kind of ego is essentially just trying to stay safe by reinforcing the perception it has of self. So for example, if you need to feel attractive to feel good, you are going to feed off people giving you compliments. You know, and when people don't mention your appearance, especially if they normally would, you might get paranoid that perhaps there's something wrong with your appearance in that moment. And that's just one analogy. The appearance one may not apply to you, but the point is, the ego protects us by seeking reassurance and validation and approval and acceptance from outside of us. And that makes us very vulnerable, because if for some reason that acceptance, validation isn't forthcoming, or we just don't have access to it for some reason, we have nothing to prop us up. And so this is what you're being guided to let go of, to recognize how many other situations outside of yourself you anchor your sense of security in. You know, do you rely on having friends around all the time, which makes it difficult for you to give them space or respect their boundaries? Or maybe you jump from friend to friend to friend to friend, and so you're not burdening one person too much, but you're always keeping yourself busy. You know, if you can't be alone and you're needing other people to help just kind of sustain your sense of self, that's a distracting behavior. It's distracting you from yourself. It's distracting you from this next stage of the process. And a big part of the distraction, remember as well, is that story you're telling yourself that this support network I have right now that I need, if I change and step into who I really am, they won't like me anymore and I may lose that. So it's a really toxic cycle of thinking that's not even real, that you're stuck in right now. It's not even real. It's all born of the ego's desire to get acceptance from outside of self, and that's all it knows how to do, because it's never been taught how to receive acceptance from within. But you're a grown-up now, you can learn that. It's just about talking to yourself kindly. There's lots of rich information on the community posts that I share here on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and go and look at the community tab. And I write a lot about self-love, acceptance and self-discovery. You're ready for this. You know that you are. You're already on this path, but you're being asked to step up to the next level now, and you're holding yourself back. The Eight of Wands is coming through here, which reminds us that once you release that addiction and turn inwards, you're going to see swift progress. And the Seven of Swords is about strategy. You know, it's about figuring out through that introspection with the Knight of Pentacles what you actually need to do next. And that's that powerful new beginning, the Ace of Wands. And I'm looking at them, I'm particularly drawn to the mushrooms here. Mushrooms need a damp earth. You know how they just appear overnight when the conditions are just right. The level of moisture, humidity and the connection to the earth is all at that perfect point. The mushrooms just appear as if by magic. And of course, water or humidity or dampness, it's all connected to the energy of the emotional body. And so you're being asked to ground your emotions through this process, to recognize the mind's interference and how it tricks you from seeing your truth. You know, the transformation awaits you. And this is Scorpio energy. The death card is all about the resurrection. Here it's depicted as a snake shedding skin. You know, literally being reborn, being brand new. The white roses are a symbol of purity. There's no such thing as an ending. There's just a new beginning. And remember, this is also number 13. It's about facing the dark. And Scorpio energy is the energy that goes all the way to the dark, to Pluto. You know, we say that darkness is only the absence of light. Well, there's no light on Pluto. It's a dark place. So, you know, this is Plutonian energy. And you have been in the dark, but you need to recognize that it's when you hit that darkest point that you're already bouncing back to the light, and the light is always peaking. You know, we're never truly absent from the dark. Sorry, absent from the light. It's always around us. It's just temporarily hidden from you right now. We've got the light attributes of the bully. Highlights your tendency to intimidate others. Helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. So if you're bullying yourself, you know, how you talk to yourself is quite often a reflection of how you will talk to others. And sometimes there is an actual stop point. What we're prepared to say to ourselves, we wouldn't say to others. But usually in those moments when we lose control and the fire erupts from us, the voice that speaks the most harshly is the inner bully. The voice that bullies us too. Someone who bullies is bullied themselves on the inside, and they've probably been conditioned to bully themselves by someone that bullied them. You know, when someone says you're fat, then there's a new voice in your head saying, I'm fat. You're fat and ugly. I'm fat and ugly. You know, we take these messages on and we repeat them in our minds, and they become our sense of self. So the bully always started out as the bullied. And in this case, I feel like you've moved past bullying others, but you have been bullied and you do bully yourself. And you are quite harsh to others, or have been harsh to others, when you lose your shit. Because that energy's in you. It's like poison. It comes out everywhere. There's no shame in it. It's symptomatic only of what's happened to you. But recognizing this about yourself and handling yourself with more compassion and forgiveness will also allow you to perceive those that bullied you with more compassion and forgiveness. And again, that kind of acceptance really does create an unexpected response. When you stand in more light, you will find more acceptance. You bring light into dark spaces. So people that previously bullied you, they no longer feel the same way about you. They may be gently subdued in the energy of your light and the divine grace of your soul's presence. You have to remember who you are and the power that you have access to. It's only belief. You are what you believe yourself to be. And right now, you don't give yourself anywhere near enough credit for the infinite power that you hold. And look at this, the light attribute of Midas Miser. Entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything to gold, delight in sharing life's riches. Remember who you are. You have demonstrated unconditional love in the most beautiful ways. You're giving, and you're creative and generous in your giving. You know, you can get things done. You're very driven. It says here entrepreneurial. You know, you are someone that makes things happen. You are a creator. That's what divine feminine energy is. You're being asked to bring it into balance and to direct it in a way that's not only healing for you, but opens you up to receiving more love and acceptance, exactly that which you crave. You fear that if you open up to it, you're going to lose. You're going to lose even more. And this is the story you keep telling yourself. This is the story that your guide is saying is false. It doesn't exist. It hasn't happened. You just keep retelling it to yourself and standing in the dark. But it's time to rise from the ashes like the phoenix. You are ready for this. Pile 2. Whew. Big energies. Let's get some more cards for you. Okay, we've got tolerance. We've got unity. We've got willingness. Oh, and the sun's coming out for you. It was raining when we started. Vision. And let's get some animals. So this is the Archangel animal deck. You've had lots of animals so far. Snakes and seals. This lady's cool as well. She's singing, I think. She's singing from a book. Very pretty. That one actually says, making up tales that harm others. So, that's interesting. How are your tales lowering the vibration and tone of other relationships? Because if you're telling yourself these stories, are you telling them angrily to the people around you? We've got Badger. Bring your life into balance. Yes, all those fours, you see. Parrot. Butterfly. And dog. And from the Keepers of the Light deck, faith, humanity and benevolence. Mercury, open communication. Dwell cool, Dharma unfolding. And Horus, cosmic gateway. I love that. A portal. That's exactly the energy that keeps coming through. You've got to step through to this next stage. It feels like an actual passage that you need to be brave enough, and it's connecting to your own consciousness in meditation, breaking through this blockage. You may perceive yourself as someone who isn't clairvoyant, and you say you can't see when you meditate. That's not true. Everyone can see. Everyone has a mind's eye. Sometimes it's just hidden from us because of our perception of self. So if you can imagine in your mind what the front of your own home looks like, or if you can get a picture in your mind of the, you know, a favourite family member, you can see their face in your mind's eye, or you can imagine, you know, what your front door looks like. If you can do that, then you have an inner eye. It's just opening it up. If you dream, for example, if you can see in your dreams, then you have an inner eye. It's just about recognising how to access it. I can't go into that deep in this video. Maybe we should do a class about psychic development, actually. Anyway, this is the Believe in Your Own Magic deck. We've got Lioness. Wow. That is powerful, isn't it? That's another number 13 card as well. Stunned. Dragons. Slay them all. Number 6. Clover. Release your guilt. Number 21. That's the World, and it also reduces to 3, the Empress, Divine Feminine Energy. Pile 2. Tolerance, unity, willingness, and vision. When you learn to be more accepting and tolerant of yourself, you're going to learn to be more accepting and tolerant of others. And at the moment, you perceive other people as so triggering that you resent their intrusion on your life. And so you may find yourself quite often irritated, agitated, or annoyed by the presence of some people in your life, and you're being guided back towards your own shadow aspect. It's the intolerance for self, the non-acceptance of self, that creates the intolerance or non-acceptance of others. And it says here, you appreciate other points of view because you sense the love in everyone. But first you have to sense the love in yourself. You understand that the love shared with another is amplified and has a ripple effect across the universe. That's what the state of unity creates. That is the energy that you are bringing. That powerful divine light that you can shine upon this world. Willingness. You are able to compromise if the end result is love. Love is always worth it. Love is what brings you back to unity. Your spirit guides are asking you to being willing to recognize your ability to compromise, to trust that the end result is always love. You need to tolerate. I'm just listening. Okay, so they want me to expand on tolerance. A lot of us are conditioned to perceive tolerance as something negative, something non-reciprocal, something that requires us to be the bigger person, and that in itself can breed resentment. Sometimes we may find ourselves thinking, well, why do I always have to be the mature one, the bigger person, the person with a peace offering? Why do I always have to be the one that rises above it? And they're asking you to recognize that what you're essentially saying in that moment is, I want to have a tantrum and be an asshole too. Why can't I be that? When I do that, I get so much shit. Why do I always have to be the bigger person but tolerate all these imbeciles being assholes? Whew, that came out strong. We feel that. It's such an irritating feeling. Your guides are asking you to release it. They're reminding you that when you compromise in that respect and allow yourself to lose your shit, you're compromising your peace. You're compromising your sense of self-acceptance and love. When we're not tolerating others, we're not in the energy of acceptance. We're in the energy of wanting to control something now that we're not enjoying. And we feel so entitled to peace in this moment. And so we'll angrily demand it. Don't you treat me like this. Rah, 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 rah. But what you're really doing is disturbing your own peace by allowing yourself to be carried into that low vibrational state. In that moment, choosing love means to choose yourself. It means to put your own peace of mind above all else and to always compromise. And to recognize that you're not compromising for them, you are compromising because you will not sacrifice your own peace and love. It's not worth disturbing your sense of peace to try and control someone else's behavior. It's not your job to educate them, and neither are most of them even capable of creating the change you want and need from them. This is about letting go of how you think others need to be and just embracing who and how you are and allowing that to be enough. In Vision, it says, no matter what, you see the bigger picture. That's your gift. That's your vision. You see the bigger picture. Forgive other people for not having access to that yet. They don't see what you can see. And that's okay, even if they can't see it, can't believe it, even if they think you're crazy. This is your gift. Protect it at all costs. Stop allowing yourself to be dragged into these foolish arguments and battles that just keep you stuck. Bring your life into balance, says the badger. Dig deep. Listen internally to understand. Don't listen to the gossip. The parrots are all about gossipy communication because parrots repeat what we say without thinking about what it means. And so when the parrot comes up for me, this is the gossip mill in motion. People that are talking about stuff and they don't even know what they're talking about. You don't need to pay attention to them. You just need to listen intently to yourself to understand and be ready to transform within your own wisdom. The dog asks you to be disciplined in that. Be disciplined in your home, in your community life. Be disciplined and hold the energy of peace and love. Rise above the low vibrational energy that presents. That's the power that you have. Faith, humanity and benevolence. Stay calm. Trust the good in yourself and others. See the light in the world. You have that vision. You have access to that light. Forgive those people that only see dark and are still angry and bitter and twisted. Allow yourself to be the bigger person that prizes open the mouth of the beast, leading by example in your divinity. Open communication and Dharma unfolding. Get a weight off your chest. Remember that you are on a path. Take one step at a time to happiness. Speak up with love and be heard. You know, if you've been speaking up with assertiveness, fury, indignance, incredulousness, you know, then none of these energies are supporting the right kind of open communication that's going to help you move forward on your path. Your thoughts are magnetic. Those stories you tell yourself are creating more of the same. Miraculous changes are occurring. You are a creator. If your thoughts are negative and on a cycle of anxiety and fear, you're manifesting more of what you don't want. You need to change the cycle and step into the light and start co-creating the future that you need and want for yourself. You've earned your stripes, Lioness. This is such a powerful, powerful card to come through, given the message we had about Durga, the lion, the strength energy. I love that there's a fish in the background here. And that, remember, even though this is a number 4, the fish is a divine feminine symbol. And it's the water symbol. You know, the mastery over our emotions. Look how relaxed and happy and accepting of self this woman is. You know, this is such a beautiful energy. Dragons slay them all. I'm hearing this is the battle that you're having with yourself. Even when you're down, you know, you stand up and fight. But you need to fight the voice that's on the inside. That's the voice that trips you up. That's the voice that hurts you the most. And it's everyone else's harsh words on repeat. It's time to let them go. You don't need to go to battle with any of these people. You need to learn to tolerate self and recognize that undoes the whole sorry pattern. Release your guilt. They are not your responsibility. You don't have to educate these people. You don't have to save them. That's not your job. Your only job is to save yourself. Oh, so lovely. Okay, we're going to get a cosmic reading card before we finish, and some charms and tarot coins. I'm going to take this over to the extended. The cosmic reading card I read straight from the book because it is just so beautiful. You've got free spirit. Let's get some charms for you. Give it a shake. Oh, okay. What fell out here? The map. What was this one? Oh la la. Perhaps a French connection there. There's also a bit of sauce for me behind oh la la. They also say it when something unexpected happens, you know, like it's a bit like an oh my God that the English folks say. Empower. The gramophone. I need my space, the coffee cup. And aunt. Little heart-shaped aunt. And let's get some tarot coins. Okay, we've got 4. We have the 10 of Swords. Ooh. We have the 9 of Pentacles. The Ace of Swords. And the Queen of Wands. Pisces, Aries energy there. Okay. You've got to get back on track, pile 2. This is about bringing yourself back to your personal healing mission that you've been distracted from lately. It's about recognizing the patterns you willingly continue to collaborate with, the toxic patterns, by putting yourself back in that energy. Even though you do have the vision and the benevolence and this beautiful big heart that helps you rise above it, you know, you will consistently surprise yourself if you keep pushing forward. You know, you've always had this power in you. You've always had this idea that even though when things are rough, eventually you will land on your feet. It's a fierceness. Remember, the lion and the tiger, they can be both fierce and benevolent. They are beautiful, profoundly beautiful creatures. Think of their majesty and their grace and their elegance and their strength. You've always known that you've got this big strength in you. It's time to harness it and balance it and allow it to empower you to co-create the right path forward. Music is significant, but you're being asked to listen very carefully, you know, and to listen to the music that's most prevalent in your zone of awareness right now. Your guides definitely communicate with you through song. And so, you know, hitting shuffle on your playlist or listening to the radio more will help you as well connect with the music that will help you make sense of your emotional body in particular. You need some space. You need to give yourself that coffee break from life, to step back, to give yourself time to step into that cosmic gateway. There's an aunt around you that does get it, that does understand. It might not be a first auntie, I'm hearing, but there is someone in your family unit that understands what you're going through. You need to seek them out. Right, let's read your free spirit card. Again, I'm going to go straight from the book. Number 13 again, wow. True freedom is attained when one transcends the illusionary imprisonment of their mind. Wowza. If that doesn't summarize this whole reading, I don't know what does. This card represents the need to let go of limiting beliefs you hold within yourself, those false stories, beliefs regarding who you are and what you are capable of achieving. There are 2 types of beliefs: beneficial beliefs which encourage you to grow, and detrimental beliefs which keep you imprisoned and bound by fear. These core beliefs lie in your subconscious and attract experiences that match their emanating frequency. So if your subconscious holds more detrimental beliefs, it is likely you will attract circumstances to match that energy. If you find yourself attracting more roadblocks and hurdles, look within yourself and see what limiting beliefs you hold inside. It is these beliefs that block you from living a more fulfilling life of manifestation, inner freedom and peace. If you were drawn to this card, Spirit is encouraging you to look deeper within yourself and see what it is that is holding you back from living a more purpose-filled life. Do you harbour thoughts of not being good, worthy or talented enough? What vibration are you sending out to the world to receive the roadblocks that you currently face? Remember that that which you wish in your life needs to be an exact match to the beliefs that are lying in your subconscious. If they are not in sync with each other, then it is most likely that your wishes may take longer to manifest. What detrimental beliefs have you been holding on to all these years? Reframe and replace any detrimental beliefs uncovered with beneficial affirmations. And the prayer here, and I'm going to bring it up close so you can pause it and write it down if you'd like to. Great Spirit, assist me to understand and transcend any detrimental beliefs I may hold within myself. Amen. And this is the associated chakra, is the base, which is where we store all of our root trauma, all of our childhood experience, all of our pain. So lots of work for you to do here, pile 2, but you can get on the right track. Remember, it will happen swiftly. So I'm going to take this over to the extended now, guys. If this resonated for you, you can find a link to that in the description box below. But thank you so, so much for joining me here. You guys are so special. I love you so much. And I'm so grateful to every single one of you that hits the like button and subscribes. And thank you so much to the very generous souls that take the time to watch my commercials and adverts and click here and there. That really helps to keep my channel going. It's a perfect energy exchange and I appreciate it so much. And thank you for your lovely comments. I love to read your feedback, and it really helps as well to make a note of which part you watched, because you will likely be invited to watch this reading again by YouTube if you don't watch the whole video today. And usually it pops up in perfect divine timing, and you may find another pile that suits you at that moment. These are timeless readings, but if you've made a note of which pile you've watched, you'll know, to pick a new one next time. So I will see you soon. Lots of love and greatest thanks, pile 2. Bye. Hello, pile 3. The sun is shining for you, and you have chosen this very happy and gentle looking cow. And we are reading today with the Considerate Tarot. Today we're channeling your guides, and your guides are always with you. They're always present, even if you can't hear them or see them or feel them. And so before we begin today, I'd really like you to just center yourself for a moment, and if you would kindly just take a nice long deep breath, just really filling up your tummy like a balloon, breathing in as much as you can, and then very slowly and gently exhaling all the way to the tips of your toes. And just continue breathing that way and repeating that until you find a comfortable rhythm with your breathing. And as you do so and you begin to relax and drop down into your heart space, just allow yourself to set the intention that you're ready and willing to receive the messages that your guides bring forward for you today. For your healing, for your own sense of purpose and contentment, to help you understand the way forward. And you can ask them as well now, please, for a sign. A sign can be anything at all. Just trust whatever pops into your mind. And this allows your guides to communicate with you directly through your experience, through this reading today and beyond. And a sign could be an animal or a creature or something from nature, an object, a symbol, a phrase, a number, a god or goddess, anything at all. Just trust whatever pops into your mind. And I'm going to shuffle the Considerate Tarot. I'm going to get started bringing the messages you need to hear the most. And these really are the most valuable kind of readings because they give Spirit the space to tell you what you need to know the most. And it might not be what you think you need. It's what they know you need. So I'm actually going to start with the Queen of the Moon Oracle. I'm going to draw some cards at the top to help me understand the context of the message. And then we'll choose some tarot cards. I'll be using the oracle cards as well, and charms and tarot coins. There will be an extended today. We've got Trust, Egg Moon, number 32. Waning Crescent Moon, Protection, number 24. So that's 5 and 6. Pleasure, Waning Gibbous Moon, number 18, reduces to 9, the energy of the Moon and the Hermit. And 21, Resilience, the Waning Gibbous Moon, number 5, Resilience, 21. So that reduces to number 3, the number of the Empress. And in fact, the first card that, you know, signifies the mood of your reading is indeed the Empress. And the Empress is divine feminine energy. She's the 3rd card in the deck, and number 3 is the number of abundance. It's the number of creation. So this is all about you embodying your power. It's about you recognizing your own divinity. This is about you really finding your way forward on a new spiritual path. So a beautiful card to come through for you with the energy of the Cow as well, because the Cow is so gentle. And you know, through my practices of animal communication, one thing stood out about the Cow, and it's its energy of grace and acceptance. There was no ego present with the energy of the Cow. Genuinely, even though they experienced suffering, there was no question of or sense of entitlement around life. It should be some different way. There was no desire to try and control it. There was an acceptance of its fate that was so graceful and rooted in gratitude. And this is what divine feminine energy is. In and of itself, it's so self-sufficient with the amount of love it can give to itself that the external environment being catastrophized doesn't uproot it from its connection to Mother Earth and the comfort and peace available to it there. And so it gracefully and willingly surrenders to whatever is. There's such a profound energy of gratitude and acceptance for the gift of life and all of the lessons it teaches, good and bad. And so a beautiful energy here to represent the whole of what's coming through for you today, because you have this profound divinity and awareness. There's this deep rooted wisdom in you, this big hearted, genuine and sincere compassion. And this is your strength. You know, this is who you are. And I get the strong impression that you don't know this about yourself. You don't feel strong. You don't feel like a goddess. You don't feel like a creator. You don't feel abundant. But you are. Let's see what else is coming through with the tarot. We've got the Empress in reverse. Wow. Incredible. The Four of Pentacles. The Five of Cups. The Queen of Pentacles in reverse. The Eight of Wands in reverse. Oh, pile 3, I really want to give you a hug. Very, very heavy-hearted energy here. We've got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Judgment in reverse. The Eight of Swords. The Three of Wands in reverse. And the Four of Swords. Wow, big energies, pile 3. Just go with the Archetype Cards. I'm going to riffle shuffle these as well. Monk Nun, the light attribute. Visionary, the shadow attributes. And the light attributes of the bully. Okay. Pile 3, you've been bullied your whole life. And this wound begins with your mother. Your mother who wasn't ready to be a mother and who herself wasn't mothered. And you came into this world feeling unsafe and unloved and judged. And there's an incredible amount of grief stored up that's rooted in that childhood experience. And you weren't taught to trust yourself. And in the absence of a mother that cared in the way you needed her to, you weren't taught to mother yourself or protect yourself. And you've worked really hard to try and find joy in the darkness that has seemingly followed you, it feels like, throughout your lifetime. You may feel like you're a tremendously unlucky person. Your guides need you to know that's not the case, although they accept that this is how you feel. And even though it feels like you have always carried a tremendous burden and had to care for others, and there's a great deal of resentment built up here for being the one that's capable, and being the one that rescues, and being the one that saves, and being the one that fixes, and being the one that loves, and just wondering why that never comes back to you in the way the stories of the spiritual community tell you it should. There is such a heavy hearted energy here of pain and tiredness and exhaustion. You may seek pleasure in things which don't serve you, and alcohol or substance abuse stands out here. It's a way of numbing yourself. You carry a tremendous amount of guilt, and the burden of guilt and responsibility weighs particularly heavy on you because that's how you were conditioned. I do feel there was a strong energy of narcissism in the mother relationship. And so you were taught to people please, you were controlled through the energy of guilt and shaming and judging and being made to feel worthless, so that you were more easily coerced into meeting the needs of others. And this has had a lasting effect on you because, hard as you've tried, you have not known how to disengage from those behaviours, and you continue to be a martyr in life, and to give and to give and to give because you know no other way. And the guilt trip and the shaming gets you every time. You don't know how to say no, because saying no means facing that guilt and shame feeling that's in you that is so very, very uncomfortable. And so this whole experience of being taught that you are powerless and that you have no voice, and that you are not worthy and deserving of respect. All of this experience has taught you not to trust yourself, not to have healthy boundaries to protect yourself, and to seek pleasure and to numb the pain by numbing the pain. But Spirit wants to draw to your attention your enormous strength. That this cow symbol that came through for you is quite profound. Remember, I said that the cow willingly accepts, and you have shown the same willingness and acceptance by continuing to march through life, still giving and still maintaining a big, pure heart. And even though it feels like the sacrifice of self has been painful, Spirit needs you to understand it was never in vain, and that it will not always be painful. They recognize that at this time in your life, it may be very challenging to accept that this pain will not last. There's been so much of this conditioning that you genuinely are rooted in the belief that your life is painful and that that's just how it is. And they don't blame you for that. They understand why it is so, and they ask you not to blame yourself either. But they do ask you to trust in them and to trust in the song that still exists in your heart. And they're very specific. I use the word song, and that should be meaningful to you. But the song in your heart always, when you tune into it, communicates love. And you've always had this divine feminine energy. It's just been hidden from you. And in being hidden, it's disconnected you from your true nature, your true strength, your true power, and your true divinity. Part of that is because you're so unwilling to accept spiritual concepts. Spirituality is something that happens to other people. You love learning about it. You love hearing about it. You want to believe in it. You love the readings, but you never have been able to trust in your own divinity and your own ability to connect to source, to draw down the healing and the love that you need, to draw down the guidance and the wisdom. You've been trained that you have none of that, that you're worthless, and that there's nothing within you that matters, because no one ever listened to you or showed interest in you as a child. No one ever celebrated who and how you were. And so you've stopped sharing your light in the meaningful ways, the healing ways. This is like it's a magical energy. And herbs stands out really profoundly. Your desire to heal through medicine, and I believe you do it through cooking. I feel like this feels like literally stirring love into food. And so this is something like this is one way you can practice your spirituality in secret, you know, without anyone knowing. But this inability to accept who you are, because not just of the perception of others, but the energy that was created within you when you were neglected, has inhibited you from accessing this awakening, this profound connection to self. You're so rooted in your earthly and material world that you're reluctant to step outside of it. It doesn't feel safe. It may even feel a bit scary to you. The grief has kept you stuck for a long time. We have, you know, the Eight of Swords here. And what's so interesting about this, so traditionally the Eight of Swords is depicted as a woman blindfolded, and her hands are loosely tied, and she's surrounded by a prison-like arrangement of swords. She's not really trapped, because of course she could just pass between the swords. They kind of create a little fence around her, but she can just pass between them. But it's the illusion of entrapment. And so the Eight of Swords is associated with self-entrapment, and it's specifically entrapment of the mind, because swords represents the mental body. So in the Eight of Swords, what we see is someone that thinks that they're trapped and willingly surrenders to being trapped and buys into the illusion that they are trapped, which is actually a creation of their own mind. They were never really trapped. They're just one decision away from freedom. But the Five of Cups clouds everything. The Five of Cups is grief. And I know that substances and alcohol came up earlier. The Five of Cups to me is often also associated with numbing grief through that practice. Quite often we see it in tarot depicted as spilt cups of wine. And so that's why it resonates in that way for me, and may for some of you. In having been disabled from mothering self, you have provided, protected, and performed in life. In many respects, you have been a stable person. You may have accumulated some material stability and supported others in their material stability and realms. And so it's the absence of being able to mother self that leaves you empty. You've provided for yourself in the fatherly sense. You know, you've gone out to work and possibly even been a leader in your role, or at least relatively successful enough to provide stability, but it's never really actually made you feel good. You think it will when you get more. There is a very driven and strong energy here, but it's the absence of that nurturing mother energy that you neither received from your mother nor are able to give to yourself, that leaves you feeling so empty. And so you don't feel fulfilled, even though there is, you know, a lot of blessings and abundance around you. You have a home, you have food, you know, you have enough. And even though you may not be, you know, living a lavish lifestyle, you are still in the top probably 3% of wealthiest people on the planet at this time. You have a lot to be grateful for, and you've provided that stability for yourself through your own efforts and diligence and hard work. You know, you have proven yourself to be an incredibly capable human being, because you haven't just taken care of yourself. You've handled a tremendous amount of shit at the same time and still maintained your integrity and your beautiful, beautiful divine feminine values about compassion and understanding. The problem is you are too accountable to self. You are so forgiving of these people, but you continue to refuse to give yourself healthy boundaries. There isn't too much resentment here for them. Most of it is directed towards self. It's rooted in a profound self-loathing that inhibits you from moving forward, that inhibits you from ascending. You can't step into your own power if you don't love yourself. And this self-loathing is all-encompassing. You know, there needs to be a recovery period now with this Four of Swords. Your guides are guiding you towards selfless devotion and single-minded dedication to spirit. You know, this is a time to acknowledge your divinity, to recognize the power and protection, the pleasure and resilience available to you through your connection to Source. You've always believed in spirit, you've always acknowledged it in others, and your guides are asking you to acknowledge it in yourself so that you may benefit from the healing that's available to you through that practice. We have the shadow attribute of visionary, selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable, and this is your fear. You may feel like you are an imposter and that you think when you have this psychic connection or experiences, you're just making it up, and it makes you feel like a fraud. And I want you to know that so many people, when their psychic senses open up, have that experience. In fact, please do comment down below if you relate. It helps everyone to know that they're not alone, because genuinely most people, when they start to develop discernment that their psychic senses are kind of doing something, it's crazy making. It makes you feel like you're having a psychotic episode and no one believes you. And you wonder if you're just making it up or if you're just mental. We all have that crushing doubt when it comes online, and you're fearful of embracing your divinity because you can't accept that you are divine. Oh, I don't know what happens. I don't understand any of it. It makes no sense to me. I just get random insights and they don't even, match up. And the thing is, you need to remember that when your psychic senses come online, you're like a newborn baby. You're experiencing things that you have no context around. And if you haven't got anyone to discuss it with, you've got even less information to help you understand it. So think of the newborn baby that doesn't have words, even the understanding of words, to be able to articulate what it's experiencing or feeling. And that's almost what it's like when your psychic senses come online, because all of a sudden you're sensing things that you have no awareness or understanding of, and no one to communicate to about it, to receive that context and understanding. So it can be a slow and scary process of learning to trust self. You're not alone. But this doesn't mean that you're not psychic. This means you're a beginner. And believe me, I'm still an infant. There is so much to learn, but the art of psychic development lies in discernment practice, allowing yourself to have those experiences. And as you do, much like the infant, you begin to make sense of this new way of being, this new world and these new senses. It's only by practicing that you develop that awareness and discernment. And so you have to let spirit in and trust it to flow, and find a community of like-minded souls that can support you in those practices. You are a profoundly gifted person. You arrive here on this planet carrying this pure, beautiful, unconditional love, the energy of the mother, the healer, the creator. It's all in you. You just need to allow yourself to embrace it, to take it. It's yours. You don't need to suffer as you do. A lot of the reasons you suffer are the limiting beliefs and the storylines that you tell yourself. And if that's something you really connect with, I recommend you watch part 2 as well, because that whole reading's centered on that false narrative. But for you, the false narrative is rooted in grief, the rejection and abandonment grief that you experienced with your mother, and then you continue it to experience throughout your life. The pain of it lingers. You have to unpack it. And the suitcase is open and you're amongst that grief right now. You're stuck in that grief. We all carry a suitcase. Never labour under the illusion that other people have it better than you. None of us makes it through life without suffering, without chaos, without pain, without hurt, without heartbreak. It's the very ascended few, and we're all on our own unique path that breathes through life without those kind of dramas. I've never met anyone that hasn't had pain. Have you? Probably not. You know, we all have a suitcase to unpack, and right now it feels like yours has exploded around you. You've got all this awareness of the pain you're carrying. You are connecting to storylines that are helping you piece it together. You know, you're exposed to content about narcissists, empaths, codependence, people pleasing. You're taking in all of this information intellectually, but you don't know what to do with it. And you just need to start going in. That's where the answers are. This is where you're going to find your truth. You're not a fraud, you're just a beginner. Bully, light attributes, highlights the tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. So this also came up in pile 2. When we are bullied, what essentially happens is we are being conditioned to believe something about ourselves that the bully imparts on us. It's like an energetic imprint that becomes a new thought, a new belief. You're ugly, Charlotte. You're ugly and horrible and fat. And when you hear these messages again and again and again and again and again, that cycle, that belief, that program is strong in you. And so you need to understand that what's actually happened is the amount of bullying that's transpired in your life has led up to you bullying yourself. There's this profound energy of self-loathing that flows into everything you do. You beat the living shit out of yourself on a daily basis, every which way. And it's the voices of your past. These thoughts and beliefs don't even belong to you. You need to step into your loving goddess, empress energy. There's a part of you that knows these people are dark, that knows that their treatment of you was wrong, abusive, unkind. And knowing that is what proves you have a beautiful big heart. Your values are different. You recognize the evil and the ugly. You see it. You don't want to be it. And even though you have been crushed by it, you have refused to abuse others. You have stood in integrity. You've stood in your power. You've held your values and your love regardless. You've held on to that pure heart. That's something to be so proud of. That speaks volumes about the powerful and beautiful soul that you have. Trust in your own divinity. Trust that you are a goddess, a creator. You know, you're such a powerful being. Let's get some more cards for you. You need to do all the work to help you develop your connection to source and your connection to yourself, pile 3. We've got harmony. Trust, again, that's the second trust for you. Purpose. And present. And from the Archangel Animal deck, the rhinoceros, the hyena, the camel, and the kingfisher. And from the Keepers of the Light deck, Odin, Psychic Insight. This also came through in pile 2. Hilarion, Divine Healing. Serapis Bay, Ascension. And one more. Dwell Call, Dharma Unfolding. And from the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle, Lavender, Princess, that's number 19, number 1, and Lioness, number 13. That also came out for pile 2. Lots of syncs here with pile 2. Pile 3. Just focus on your breathing again for me. Finding that nice, comfortable rhythm and awareness around your breathing that we started with, centering yourself back into that calm place, because your guides need to connect with you lovingly in this moment and to help you recognize the truth of who you are, that you are able to feel a loving, balanced connection with everything. That's what enables you to love the way that you do. You know, you have this harmony in your heart space that, despite the chaos, manages or allows you to manage yourself in such a way that you are still loving and giving. That is such a profound gift. And they want you to open up to receive some of that loving energy for yourself. Just allow yourself to begin there. If that's all you can trust yourself to do, just allow yourself to connect and find that loving space within you. From there, you develop trust. It says you have a strong connection to your soul's loving voice and have faith in your intuition. So when you connect into this loving place in your heart space and you take yourself there just through breathing and relaxing, you can find a guided meditation on my channel for grounding and protection, which will help you move into that space. There's also a how to meditate video on my channel that might help. But just guiding yourself into that space and allowing your higher self to talk to you lovingly and kindly like the mother you needed, that's what builds that trust in your connection to source. You know, that's what connects you to your soul's loving voice, which helps you connect to faith. Faith in your own divinity. It says here, you possess the determination and dedication to consciously demonstrate love. You have already proved that. This is why Spirit is saying, just look at how special you are. We are so proud of you. Look at everything you've been through and how you are still a loving, pure-hearted being. This is what separates you. You know, not in a dualistic way, but this is what separates the leader from the soldiers. Because you've gone to battle and you've still come out with your heart intact. You know, in the present, you live in the moment and are able to bring forth the energy of love in your current circumstances. This is what you already do. That, my friend, is a light worker. Someone that can carry that much love into this world, no matter how much they are battered and bruised by their external circumstances. That is power. That's the power of the mother, the goddess. That's the power of love. It's so profoundly beautiful. You are strong and courageous. You know, you've got this rhinoceros energy. But dare to be different. Allow yourself to step into your spiritual way of being. Be forbearing and patient. You know, trust that you can generate your own sustenance, which allows you to further develop that patience and focus and to be specific and psychically guided in your work. You know, you have a natural gift as a healer, and this is divine healing. Honor your sensitivity, retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. When you give yourself the space for harmony, self-love and trust of self, you open your psychic insight. You see the truth for what it is, and you can readily follow your intuition. You know, Serapis Bay, ascension, move into your true self, rise above the darkness. The light is here. It's here for you, Pile 3. You've been shining it on the rest of the world. It's time to take back for yourself, to stop trying to get it back from the people around you and to recognize where it comes from, where you've been drawing it from. You know, this is Dharma unfolding. Remember that you are on a path and take one step at a time to happiness, to the release of suffering, the release of pain. Surround yourself with love. This is number 19 as well. It's connected to the energy of the sun, the energy of Leo, and you've also got the lioness here. You've earned your stripes. You know, you are a powerfully compassionate human being. You still have this joyful, playful energy and childlike purity. You're such a gentle and special soul. There are so many people in this world that do love and appreciate you, and you're going to find more of those people. You know, you can be your own knight. This is about being your own number one. You know, recognizing that the most important relationship you will have is the one with yourself. You know, holding your own truth, taking care of yourself. You have to offer that love to yourself. And this is what liberates you then to really heal others. At the moment, you're doing your best running on an empty tank. But when you step into your divine feminine power, you allow yourself to transform in this way. You open yourself up to so much more healing potential, not just for self, but for others. Oh, so many beautiful light work messages today. I do feel that, you know, this community of soul workers, of self-healers, that, you know, all of these people that are connecting to spirit in every which way. And I even see it in the younger generations, you know, kids with tarot talk and witch talk and all of the crystal talk, and wanting to understand, wanting to connect to their own divinity, wanting to connect to their own power. You must understand you're stepping into a new generation, a revolution in thinking. You know, people are accepting this stuff now, and you can let go of your inhibitions. You know, you can release yourself to just enjoy it and to accept this divine abundance that's available to you. So we're going to get some charms. We're going to get some tarot coins. And I'm going to draw one of these cards and read it straight from the book, because it's just such a stunningly, beautifully written book. And these cards are always so damn accurate. It's crazy. Okay. New chapter, number 24. Beautiful. Let's get some charms. Okay, what have we got here? We've got Anja, crown chakra, got third eye, we've got the bee, I don't know if we can see those actually, let me bring them in, the bumblebee, the sunshine, we'll get a couple more. Okay, what have we got here? We've got the sacral chakra, we've got the asthma pump, and we've got the rose quartz. Okay. And tarot coins. Okay, how many have I got there? That's 4, yeah. Let's see what these are. We have the Emperor, the Magician, the Knight of Cups, and the 4 of Cups. Okay. Pile 3. The crown chakra and the third eye and the sacral. These are all connected. The sacral is about passion, drive, inspired action, and your life force, that which is connected to your sexuality, your creativity, all of that beautiful spiritual force and inspired energy that's in you. And you connect to this through the third eye, which is your vision, and you connect to this through the crown, which is your connection to source. The rose quartz comes in here, and it's even a heart-shaped one. You know, that's the stone of unconditional love. And so to me, the message is quite clear. And you've even got the sun and the bee. You know, the sun, of course, is light, is sustenance. It's what everything grows under light. Without light, life as we know it on this planet would not exist. After our breath, our life force, it's our second most vital element. We need light. Without light, nothing grows. And without the community, nothing is possible. Human beings survived as long as they did because they collaborated. The same way that bees collaborate, that every drone, you know, every bee within that hive has a role, has a purpose, is part of the whole. And you are worthwhile. You are achieving so much wonderful, wonderful work on this planet right now, just because the world as you know it doesn't perceive any value in it. Spirit needs you to know that you must not underestimate your contribution to humanity as you stand in this light living right now. You are a gift to this planet just for being here in that integrity, in that light, in congruence with your own values and your truth. You know, this is profoundly beautiful achievement. And you may have never felt victory. You may have never felt appreciated. You may have never felt that gratitude, but it's here. It's waiting for you when you connect to it. Spirit is so very proud of you and so very grateful that you exist in this time, shining your light as you do. You know, remember to breathe. This is your life force. You know, there is no light if there's no breath. You have to breathe. When you stand in awareness of your breath, You stand in awareness of self and your divinity. And it's your breathing that allows you to achieve that relaxed, altered state of consciousness that connects you to harmony and bliss state and source. All of the intuitive guidance that helps you to trust yourself again, that gives you the love that you need. It's all there waiting for you. You know, the Emperor, this is about taking control back of your life, recognizing that you've already achieved the provider, protector status for yourself. You've created stability. Now you have to step in and be your own mother too. You know, to offer yourself that love willingly. And the Four of Cups is all about being self-focused. You know, allowing yourself to release other obligations and make yourself a priority. The Magician, recognizing your own power, recognizing you already have proven skills that you've demonstrated to achieve what you need to achieve because you've done it for others. There is no doubt that you can do it for yourself, and you can trust yourself to do it because you are a reliable, kind, compassionate human being. You have to give this love to yourself now. It's there. This is a new chapter. Let's read this card for you. I love this deck so much. It's called the Cosmic Reading Cards. If you're interested in the decks I'm using, they're always listed down below. You're being nudged to move forward, to take that next step. A new adventure awaits. Inner change and transformation has been occurring within you. Your soul now yearns to take that next step, a leap of faith into the unknown. A new chapter waits with new opportunities and adventures. Your heart has been nudging you forward for some time now, but the cautious mind has kept you at bay. Don't let the fears of the unknown hold you back in a place that offers no growth. More than anything, your soul longs to grow and evolve. Staying where you are does not give you room to soar to new heights of spiritual awareness and full consciousness. This part of the journey can be quite difficult, not only for you, but for those around you. Go through the process. Honor your feelings and the feelings of those involved, but don't stay in this state of discontent. Honor this period, but move through it with courage, strength, and determination. Breathe deep and release all fears, doubts, and concerns. Follow your heart. Listen to your intuition and guidance. Believe in yourself. Don't trouble yourself with the opinions and expectations of others. This is your life, and you know what is truly best for you. Although you can't see it, your next chapter brings wondrous lessons for the growth that is needed for your soul. Be true to yourself always, and trust that spirit will guide your way. Take some time out and reflect on nature's wisdom to guide you through this period. Rest assured that smooth roads are ahead. And the prayer here, and I'll bring it up so you can pause the video and write it down if you'd like to. Great Spirit, guide me through the transition and give me the courage to make choices that help my soul to grow. And the associated chakras are the solar plexus and the heart, perfectly represented here with these two stones as well. Absolutely beautiful. 24 adds up to number 6, which is the number of unconditional love. That is the power which you possess, pile 3. Move forward with grace. You have everything in you need. You are such a special person, and from your guides, thank you. I love you. You know, you really have demonstrated what real love is. It's time to demonstrate it to yourself, and then step in to not only your own divine healing, but that of others too. Oh, I'm going to take this over to the extended now. Happy souls, if this has resonated for you, you can find the link for in the description box to join me over there. But thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you've enjoyed this reading. Let me know down below if this has resonated for you. And I do feel, again, with this divine healing, I've got Reiki classes coming up. And Reiki 1 is primarily for self-healing. I think this might be a lovely way for you to connect to your own divinity. So check that out. The information is all in the description box below and on my website. But I will see you next time. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for your beautiful comments. And thank you so very much to the special souls that are so generous in the energy exchange of clicking on my commercials or watching them from time to time. I appreciate that so much. It really does help to keep my channel ticking over. So thank you for sharing your time with me in that way. And I will see you next time. Lots of love. Bye. Hello, Pile 4. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the Bear and the Nephrite Jade and the Light Seers Tarot. And today we are channeling messages from your guides. We're bringing you the messages that you need to hear the most at this moment in time. And these really are the most productive readings that really help you, because it gives Spirit the space to really bring through what you need to hear. And you don't always know what you need to hear. Sometimes, you know, you're so intent in finding stuff out that's in your external zone of awareness that you forget to ask the right questions. And so this gives your spirit guides a chance to reach you in a really direct way. So before we begin, what I'd like you to do is just to really relax. And we're going to invite your guides forward because they're always there anyway. And just because you can't hear them or see them or feel them around you doesn't mean they're not there. But I want you to start by relaxing and becoming aware of your breath. Your breath is your life force. And just take a really nice long deep breath now for me. Really filling up your tummy like a balloon until there's no room for more air as you draw it into its fullest potential. And then exhale it gently and slowly all the way to the tips of your toes. Just repeat that a few more times, really allowing yourself to find a steady and peaceful rhythm with your breathing and just sitting in gratitude for that life-sustaining energy. Just pure life force, just breathing it in, sitting in gratitude, one of the highest vibrations available to you. And just drop down into your heart space and invite your guides to step forward. Set the intention that you're ready and willing to receive the messages you need the most. And you can take this opportunity as well to ask for a sign. And a sign can be anything at all. Just trust whatever pops into your head. It could be a creature, animal, something from nature. It could be a song, a name, an object, a symbol, a number, a phrase, a god or goddess, anything. There's no right or wrong. Just trust what pops into your mind. This gives your guides an opportunity to communicate with you directly, not just in this reading, but in all areas of your experience as well. So just allow yourself to be open and receptive to the messages that are coming through for you. And let's see what's going to come through. I'll give those a good shuffle. Now we're going to use the Oracle decks and charms and tarot coins. There will be an extended today. But let's start with the Bear, the card you chose. And I just want to say, actually, I felt really guided today to bring this lump of kyanite onto my table as I worked. This is a protective stone that neutralizes negative energy, and it's self-protecting and neutralizing as well, which means it just constantly holds a good vibration, and just putting other crystals on it even cleanses them. I'm going to leave that here so you know it's there. I felt really guided to bring it in. But the Bear is actually the Hierophant, number 5 in the tarot. Number 5, even though we see the bear as a stable, solid, very brave creature, and indeed it is, but the Hierophant and the number 5 actually represents the energy of instability because it's an odd number. It's an uncomfortable, transformative state that we find ourselves in when we're in number 5 energy. But it's also the key to our progression. It's the key to our ascension, our revolution, our growth. It's the lessons we learn in life and that point at which everything becomes clear. The Hierophant is about authority and higher learning, paying attention to the lessons that are being presented to you for your own transformation. And so for you to have chosen this card tells me that you're a spiritual seeker. You want to learn, you're ready to ascend, and you're constantly looking for that new opening to help you understand yourself better, to help you understand your journey and your experience better. You are definitely someone that is open and receptive to your own truth, and you're finally recognizing the authority in your own higher truth, in your own wisdom, in your connection to source and your access to your own divinity. You may even be a teacher yourself, supporting other people through these energies, guiding other people in this experience, and not necessarily just a spiritual one. You may find yourself as a leader, guide or teacher in a position of authority in your practical or material world, child that's not even connected to your spiritual journey. But for sure, you are someone that is wise, you have a mature soul, and you are definitely finding your way into higher and higher states of ascension and enlightenment. So that's a really beautiful start for you. You know, you're definitely not new to this path, and you know, I'm excited. There's this energy of sass and confidence as well that comes through, and I'm thinking, you know, this is mama bear energy as well, the protector, the provider, you know, and think how prepared bears are, you know, with their hibernation periods and so forth. You know, incredible creatures. To understand yourself better, that, you know, the energy of the bear which you've chosen is very significant to you. It's definitely an energy you need to work with. So I'm going to use first the Queen of the Moon Oracle cards just to get an understanding of what messages and the context as it pertains to you. We've got the Wolf Moon, Hunger, number 29. The Waxing Gibbous Moon, number 4, Will. We've got Gratitude, number 23, the last quarter moon. And we've got Worm Moon, Faith. And from the Tarot, we've got the King of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, Temperance, the Hanged Man, and the Two of Wands in reverse. The Nine of Pentacles, the Four of Cups in reverse, number 13, Death or Rebirth. This is also number 13, similar images. Four of Wands in reverse, Queen of Swords in reverse. Oh, these are such beautiful and interesting energies, powerful. You really are an explorer of the universe, and you've always had a passion for learning and a thirst for knowledge and a hunger and drive to succeed, a powerful sense of intuition, which certainly in recent years you've cultivated and nurtured and really learned to step into your power. I do feel that you willingly approach your shadow aspects and invite your way into them, but as with every human being, there are always hidden aspects, and you're also aware of this. You know there are shadow aspects that you've not connected with yet, and it's like you seek them out. You're aware of the energy of release and liberation that you find on the other side of those healing practices. You're frustrated at the moment because it does feel like there are some healing blocks that you're not aware of. I'm really drawn to how this number 23, this energy of gratitude, connects to the energy of the Hierophant as well, and its reduction to 5. And this last quarter moon, sitting in this energy of gratitude, to me this is really embracing the nature of your journey and the healing practice of literally feeling blessed even for the suffering that you have experienced, because you recognize how rich the learning experience that presents is. You revel in rediscovering those lost and hidden parts of yourself and making sense of who you are. And you really underestimate, and in fact this has been a common theme with many of the piles today, you underestimate how gifted you actually are. Specifically the art of discernment comes in very strong. You're very conscious and aware of your own energetic state. You're connected to your body in a profound way. I'm really drawn to this Faith card, which is 31, reduces to the energy of 4, which is stability and the Worm Moon. And we have this beautiful, abundant Mother Earth image that is just so stable and so very peaceful. And so you know how to calm yourself and to cope with life through your connection to source and through your spiritual practices. And so you've learned that the healing journey need not be painful, and that it's actually a really uplifting and empowering process. We've got this leader energy again coming through with the King of Wands, and your guides are asking you to recognize your power to lead even the strongest. You really need to allow yourself to step into your role as a leader and teacher in a spiritual way if you haven't done so already. When the Page of Pentacles comes through, it asks you to remember that we can all be beginners and start somewhere, and it's that creative spark that sets you on the right path of intention. And so it's just about taking more time to ground your ideas and to see what actually takes root when you do that. I'm being asked to prompt you to look at that visually when you journey, when you go within, when you unleash your own intuitive abilities, to focus specifically on which ideas root and which start growing within you. That will help you move forward to the next step. And it does feel like you have a lot of harmony and balance to look forward to. And you're already in a fairly harmonious and balanced state. And so you're way too hard on yourself when it comes to this digging. You know, your guides are actually saying, stop pushing yourself. You've come so very far. And at this stage, we just want you to enjoy feeling good. It's kind of like you maybe make yourself feel guilty if you're not being practically productive with your spiritual work. You're always digging for something more. But you've unpacked enough of your trauma now to just enjoy a harmonious state. And you've already surrendered from, to me, what appears to be a twin flame or soulmate connection. You've surrendered the need for union in that situation, even though that's something you're still very passionate about. You feel very comfortable and content right now in where you're at in your world. And you've definitely released the energy of needing to control and control the outcome. Despite this, it always feels to you like something is lacking. There's a profound energy of self-sufficiency here, and certainly it appears that at material level you're probably quite successful, but to you it still feels like something escapes you, like there's some kind of hidden away aspect of self that still needs to be released, and you can feel it tugging at you. And it calls to you and it calls to you. And so you put a lot of pressure on yourself to maintain a disciplined approach to your healing. But in being so focused and intentional about the kind of healing you think you should be doing, you're not actually creating space for the truth to filter its way through. So your guides are asking you just to focus presently and in the immediate future on being still, on being in harmony with self, on maintaining your alignment and that energy of bliss and self-love. They're saying from this point of clarity, the transformation will become clear because the things that you're looking for are hidden from you. And in this image, they're wearing a mask. These are both number 13 cards, the energy of death in tarot. And here it's called death and rebirth, that infinite process and cycle of beginnings and endings and new beginnings and so on. And they're both reduced to number 4, again, that energy of balance and stability. So, you know, these hidden aspects, they're hidden, and that in itself is a clue that, you know, you're looking in the wrong places. It's hidden from you. You just need to allow yourself to be still enough to receive it rather than trying to look in certain places. You know, it will appear to itself when you're in the energy of feeling good and balanced, when your energy is ready to receive it, so that you can continue to perpetuate this energy of surrender and balance that you've already created. I think this is more about being rather than doing right now. You need to stop equating creation with physical action. You're being asked to create from a 5D perspective now, to just sit in the energy of balance and harmony and that gratitude and faith that you've already developed, and recognize that it's from there that you foresee and move into your transformative energies. I think the part of you that you're wanting to conquer, and I think this is interesting because I think you're aware of the triggers. There is a part of you that's incisive, and you feel it rise up in you when you're triggered, one of your first responses to certain individuals is incisive, and even though you don't express it and react to it, you recognize this in yourself. You feel it rise up like an energy. It's like poison. It feels ugly. And even though you have mastered the energy of self-control in terms of keeping it down, you haven't been able to sedate and dispel those kind of energies and, you know, stop them from rising up. Their presence in your awareness, because you are very highly discerning, has made you aware that there's work to be there done, but you're not necessarily recognizing where to find the root of that and how to, shall we say, deactivate those triggers. It's hidden from you, and it's hidden from you for a reason. Again, the message is to slow down and stop trying to rush the process. Your guides are saying some things just take time. You know, everything has divine order, and things become clear as we move forward. What we have to keep doing is putting one foot in front of the other and not trying to be too focused on a specific objective, but just allow ourselves to flow and trust we will arrive at the right conclusion in the right timing. You actually have everything you need already. As we've described, it does feel like you're very advanced in your awareness, in your energy of discernment, in your progress in terms of moving into some degree of self-love and acceptance and alignment within self. You practice spiritually, and you know, it definitely feels like you have so much incredible potential, but right now you're fixated on your own healing, and you need to give yourself a break from that and allow yourself to start merging with your experience in a more present way. You've dug into the past, you've transformed enough to already be elevated above the chaos and to have much clearer perspective. And it feels like you keep reaching down back into it, trying to find something else you can get rid of. But some of it is there for a longer kind of, what can we call it, cycle. Some of it needs to be there a bit longer. Some of it needs to keep stirring and to present itself in certain ways so that we can learn in the way that we're meant to. You're being asked to surrender to this process too, i.e. part of your surrender process is also willingly releasing control of your healing practice at this stage and allowing spirit to guide you to the right conclusions in the right time, rather than trying to force it and digging for it and delving back into it. You've done that very intensely for a very, very long time. And through that practice, you've developed much healthier coping mechanisms, and you have found yourself in a more stable place. Spirit is giving you some respite. It's saying just take the time now to enjoy this and flow in a more gentle fashion. The goal now is to just feel good and integrate yourself with the presence, to anchor that faith in the Mother Earth energy that surrounds you, particularly in nature. There's a need here to reconnect to the outdoors, and if you can't do that, to bring nature in as much as possible. Specifically, this is coming through as wood and tree energy, so leaves, wood, maybe working with herbs of trees and woods or berries, but definitely really deep grounding Mother Earth energy. Sticks, stones, even crystals, you know, are born of the earth. So bring the outdoors in, bring plants in, even little trees. Get yourself a bonsai tree. You know, you need to reconnect with your Gaia energy is what I'm hearing, to get grounded in your present and to start really surrendering to it, you know, to allow yourself to just be at this stage. And to not keep putting so much pressure on yourself to transform, to allow the lessons to unfold in the order that they are meant to. Beautiful, beautiful energies. You really do underestimate yourself. Okay, we've got kindness. We've got present. Empathy. And respect. And from the Archangel Animal deck, we've got Turtle, we've got Tiger. Tiger and Lion is shown up in, I think, all piles today. We've got Pig, and we've got Whale. He's also showed his face today. I love whale energy. Beautiful. Okay, from the Keepers of the Light deck. Whoa. We've got Dwalkall, Hilarion, Divine Healing. We've had both of those boys out today as well. Gaia, wow. Earth Connection. And one more. Archangel Michael, Trusting Heaven. Again, this connects you to that faith. From the Archetype deck. Hero, Heroine, Shadow Attribute. Athlete, Shadow Attribute. Destroyer, Shadow Attribute. Kindness, Present, Empathy and Respect. You have to excuse my silence. There's such a jumble of energies that rushes in on you. And I think it destabilizes you. Sometimes when there's a lot going on in your life, all of this knowing and this practice and this alignment and these good feelings can very rapidly dissipate. It's like the energy of kind of, I talked about this in one of the other piles, when your kind of alignment is like walking a tightrope. And if there's too many distractions, you wobble, and then you may eventually fall. And it feels like there's a lot of rushing energy in your present, where sometimes there is so much happening that you find yourself wobbling, and it's so destabilizing. In those moments, you're incredibly hard on yourself. You know, you really beat yourself up, not recognizing how advanced you are on this journey at this time, and also what a valuable resource you are to others. Kindness, you are humanitarian, you are made of love, and you're able to share that energy with others. And you know, this came through strong in pile 4, and I think it's a common and beautiful trait of the light worker, is that you have this beautiful inner light and purity that drives you towards giving love. Most light workers find that even though at the beginning of their journeys and through their dark nights of the soul, they find the absence of love within themselves, that an inability to love self, they usually always had an ability to love others. That's the common thread that ties most light workers together, even in the face of a harsh experience. They continue to love and to embody loving energy and kindness. And this is that humanitarian aspect that is also very strong in you. And so this came through in one of the other paths, that you must remember to give that to yourself first and foremost. You are very good at being in the present. And again, the present and Mother Gaia and that earth connection is what's actually pulling you back right now, to slow down amongst the chaos and recognize the vital sustenance that's available to you through your connection to the earth. It definitely feels to me that your ability to connect with the emotions of others can at times be draining. And so part of this as well is, it says here, maintaining self-worth and self-esteem. You know, the heart is indicated in this expansion of protective light. This is also about recognizing the need to clear yourself. And I nearly fell over then, I don't know how. Yeah, so it's falling off the tightrope, isn't it? To clear yourself, to bring yourself back into balance, to maintain that strong sense of self, and to recognize your power and ability to do that at all times. You know, respect, you value everyone's unique perspective on the path to love. And for me, this is really driving home that you must really share that respect with self. One, again, common theme that's come through in these piles today is that tendency to be our own harshest critics. And I think you have worked very, very hard to master the inner dialogue and to continue nurturing it into one that's loving and kind and compassionate. But it does run away with you sometimes. You know, when the bear gets angry and you feel that poison kind of rise up in you, as much as you can be harsh to others in those moments, you can also be incredibly harsh towards yourself. Turtle and whale energy for me very similar because they're so joyful. There's such big heart energy with the turtle and whale, and the turtle in particular for me is a powerful representation of self-love and self-preservation, because the turtle really does carry its own home within itself. It doesn't look for home outside of self, which is an incredible strength. You know, a lot of us feel disjointed or dislocated in the world if we don't have access to a person we call home, you know, a significant other. We feel adrift or lost at sea, but the turtle always has everything he needs. You know, home is within his own heart space, and it's a powerful, powerful symbol of healthy boundaries, taking care of self, you know, all reflective of the energy you've already developed but haven't always maintained powerful and masterful control over. But in part, this is that doubt that still exists within you. The tiger comes forward to remind yourself of your own magnificence. And when tiger came up earlier, it really connected me to the energy of Durga, the Hindu goddess. The storyline there may mean something to you. But, you know, tiger is such a courageous energy. You know, this is all about reminding you how much you've already achieved, being kinder to yourself as you move through to the next level, taking the time to enjoy this place of calm that you've created for yourself, this place of clarity, you know, to just focus on yourself, live fully as a conscious being. Just give yourself that time to be in the flow with it all, like the whale, your big loving heart doing the work for you. Everything is happening in the right order. There is no delay. You're not behind schedule. There's no need to rush. You've got Dharma unfolding, divine healing, earth connection, and trusting heaven. You know, this is all about recognizing it's all happening for you. You don't need to control it. You can continue to surrender and to just honor the path as it presents itself. The shadow attribute of hero is escapism and a false sense of heroism. How are you continuing to validate yourself with external things? In this case, this feels like rescuing others. You may have always been a fixer and buzzed off the idea of helping somebody, and that's a beautiful gift, that humanitarian gift of kindness. But when you're using this to help create self-worth and self-esteem, when mothering others and being that empath, understanding and feeling others' emotions is what lifts you up and helps you feel good about yourself, you're still anchoring your need for sustenance outside of self. By all means be present and enjoy it and sit in gratitude of it, but you need to be aware of when, you know, bearing in mind this is a shadow attribute here, escapism and a false sense of heroism. You are not the healer. You facilitate people's healing. You know, it's not your job to rescue people. It's just your job to channel messages and to channel energy as spirit intended. There's a need to stay humble here. And that sounds like a contradiction when I say stop underestimating yourself. But of course, this is about how you're perceiving your role in the world of rescuing, fixing others, and needing that outlet. And it perhaps may not even be a spiritual rescue. This could be trying to put your friends' worlds to rights and, you know, fighting for justice for others. There's always a need to get involved and interfere and fix things. You just can't help this about yourself. You're being asked to wait for the invitation and to focus on yourself, because that's the fixing that's going to give you the biggest release and powerful energy. This is about taking time for you and allowing your healing to flow at a pace that is directed by your intuition in the moment. Again, we've got the shadow attribute of athlete. It's not a race. Misuse of ability for selfish ends, false sense of invulnerability and entitlement. So, you know, misuse of your athletic ability could be deemed as, you know, not recognizing your fallibility. Also, when we learn these healthy coping mechanisms, when we learn to move ourselves into source energy and into bliss space and that relaxing meditative experience, we essentially disconnect ourselves from the pain, and that can be a very addictive place to stay, often at the expense of acknowledging our shadow. Now, I know that you are digging for it, but often it's usually just beyond our perspective or reach until such a time as that layer's peeled back and it's revealed to us. But also, we can end up becoming somewhat detached from the experience because we don't need to allow ourselves to dwell in it at all. even though we may seek healing, there's still some internal hidden fears that cause us to turn away from some of the digging that we probably should be doing. And so there's definitely a suggestion here that your ability to feel good and to get back on the tightrope is as much of a hindrance as it is a support if it's not used in healthy moderation. So again, part of this being present and connected to Mother Earth is about allowing yourself that time and space to just be, so that the right healing guidance comes forward at its own pace, rather than trying to force it and then get frustrated when it doesn't occur on your schedule, your timetable, and you know, ignore it at your peril. We've got the Destroyer, shadow attribute, intoxication with a destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. And I feel this is about your own, you know, rather than other people's. For some of you, there is a karmic lesson here connected to the use of magic. And there's a specific, and this won't apply to everyone, but there's a specific suggestion towards what could be described as coercive magic, or magic that interferes with another's free will. And I say this not to shame you or to judge you, because that's not what this is about. You carry shame and the energy of an imprint of that shame already from having conducted yourself in that way in the past. And that's something that you now need to transmute so that you can, that's one of the hidden aspects and the hidden shadow aspects that you don't want to see, because it shatters this impression of the heroine or hero that you've been trying to impress upon others. So this is perhaps one of the areas where you don't feel like you can be entirely real with yourself. Obviously, this is Taurus energy here, the bull as well. And we have to remember the pride that exists in the energy of the bull, the need to appear strong and in control and in charge, and will use assertiveness, you know, to ensure it stays so. And so if you are in the position of the teacher or you're highly respected, it can sometimes be very uncomfortable to acknowledge these parts of ourselves, or to allow ourselves to be vulnerable enough to express them and work through them. There's definitely some hidden aspects there. And you know, magic is just words. It's intention and suggestion. To spell or spell work means to say out loud, to spell out, to say aloud. And so, you know, if you're a powerful co-creator, you've got to be careful of what you're unintentionally creating when you are in that distorted Queen of Swords energy, the harsh, poisonous part of you, and how it was before it was dammed up. Like, you know, we said earlier, it still rises up in you and you know it's there, but you no longer react to it. This is about facing the shadow aspects of you that did react to it in the past, I believe. So we're going to get some charms and oracle cards for you as well, and some tarot coins before we take this to the extended. Like, this pile for me is one of the most intriguing, because I do feel like, you know, you have become incredibly self-sufficient, incredibly advanced in your spiritual practices, and yet you still give yourself the hardest time. And like, even this now, you're kind of beating yourself up already, saying, oh, I should have seen this, I should have realized this about myself, I'd forgotten all about that. And you know, you need to stop beating yourself up. You need to stop that. We've got Be Still. Wow, number 5. Isn't that powerful? Right, let's get some charms. I'm going to read this one straight from the book to you. Lorna Club. Hello, I'm yours. Without you, I feel lost at sea. Is Mercury in retrograde? Save yourself. The Acorn. And these tiny ones, it says number 1 teacher. Wow, that's just the back of one of the charms. Number 1 teacher and hope. are those two. So that teacher energy came through right at the beginning. How interesting. Okay. And some tarot coins. We've got 3 here. We've got the Emperor, number 4. The 4 of Cups. And the Page of Pentacles, which is a tarot card that did come out for you, pile 4. Okay. You have to take that time for yourself. This is how you bring yourself back. And if you are a teacher, you have to remember first and foremost that you are your own master and teacher. You know, this save yourself is coming through really strong. This making time for yourself is coming through really strong. You know, if you want the seed to grow, if you want growth and expansion, you have to nurture the plant. What you nurture grows. Energy goes where intention flows. You've got to be more aware of what you're actually creating. There's a need for self-focus, so here. Like many of the piles today, and again, this must be a common mood in the collective right now, feeling bogged down by responsibility or obligation to others, and also missing somebody, you know, just wanting to, you know, to find yourself with the comfort of companionship. Perhaps, you know, romantic companionship that's at your level, even though there's an energy of surrender to this, and there is an energy of surrender and acceptance around it. It is still tinged with that, you know, energy of longing that sometimes just wishes there was another body to keep warm with you and to share the experience with you. But you do struggle to find companionship, even at a platonic level, that feels like it's on your wavelength. And it does feel like that's a lonely place for you to be sometimes, which is why you continue, you know, to seek that connection in others. But right now, you know, you need to trust that the right people will appear and present in the way they're meant to. You're meant to lead right now. You're meant to be one of these trailblazers that's bringing in this kind of new order. And it is about order. This is the Emperor. This is about helping restore stability, equanimity, and equilibrium. Your calm and authoritative energy really lends itself well to making things happen and making people work together, learning together, developing together. You have a very grounded, beautiful, earthy presence that you need to continue to nurture and allow to inform your forward journey. Be still. Let's see what the book says. I love this book. It normally summarizes it so perfectly. Number 5 as well. To the mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders. A quote by Lao Tzu. Be still. Breathe. Find that well of tranquility and serenity within you. There are times when life feels chaotic. Circumstances and relationships test and challenge you with conflicting emotions and inner storms. Sometimes your emotions are felt deeply, and you may have moments of outbursts that express pain and inner rage. Feel the emotions and try to understand what has come forth from you. See the origins from which this reaction was born. There will always be triggers, dear one, and storms will pass, but how you react makes all the difference to the severity and longevity of the storm. Who you are is best seen when you are challenged, pressured and put to the test. Will you react with rage, spite and bitterness, or with peace, love and compassion? If you react with anger and spite, do not be disheartened. Simply see that this is where you are at this time. Be gentle with yourself and go within to explore the deepest recesses of your hidden self. Find the root of why your reactions are so. Send this part of you love and compassion and feel the healing light of love spreading through your entire being. Dear one, you are the love, peace, tranquility and serenity that you seek. It is you, know it, feel it and be it. Be the peace that others seek, be the stillness that others crave, be the compassion that others need. In this stillness there is clarity and peace. Go forth, dear one, and be gentle. And be that gentle voice that calms the storm. And the prayer is Great Spirit, lead me to still waters within myself so that I may find peace. And the associated chakras are sacral and solar plexus. So that is just a profoundly beautiful message to close this off with before the extended pile 4. You know, you have this infinite power within you. You are a teacher, you're a leader, you're a trailblazer. You know, be still in that presence. Keep shadow seeking. Look in your previous misgivings, the things you're judging yourself harshly for, the memories where you've made yourself too accountable and not been forgiving enough. I think this is revisiting or raking over stuff you've already gone through, but it's about now seeing it from a more ascended perspective, seeing it again with fresh eyes, fresh perspective, so that you can bring that stillness and forgiveness to that energy and really, you know, reduce those triggers and release those triggers so that you no longer have to feel that poison in you. That tiger, you know, is capable of both protection and courage and also aggression. And I feel this is the bit of you that you battle with, that strength, that inner Ra, the bull, the bear, you know, that angry mother bear. But you need to just love that part of you some more. I really hope that helped pile 4. I'm going to take this over to the extended. So thank you so very much for joining me here today. Thank you for your presence, for your beautiful comments, and for your likes, and for subscribing. And thank you also to those very generous souls that take the time to exchange energy with me by clicking on the commercials or watching the commercials. That's such a very special use of your time, and I appreciate it so much. So thank you for those of you that do that. It really does help to keep my channel going and growing. And hopefully I'll see you at the extended, but if not, see you next time. And don't forget, I've got Reiki classes coming super soon. Throughout the Lionsgate portal, we'll be starting the Reiki 2 for those of you that have already done Reiki 1, but there is a Reiki 1 for beginners in September. So check it out, and I will see you soon. Lots of love. Bye.